But go get them, boys, on the midday, as we'll enjoy our Greek chicken.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Should be a good one. See you guys.
See ya.
Oh, no.
Yo,
What's
happening?
What's going on, everyone? Man, oh man, it's good to be back, man. Yeah,
Yes.
I know I missed you guys, missed the lads.
How was it?
Yeah, oh man, I don't know. It was a great time, man. A lot of good experiences, a lot of good stuff. I can't complain whatsoever. But Obi, is it ever expensive to go to Tulum? I was telling the people about it earlier today. Yeah,
what do you mean? Inflation's reached the other side of the world?
It's just a complete rinse job over there, man. Like $40 cocktails and everything like that. Yeah,
is that in
insane.
USD?
USD as well too. So only a couple of those going down. But it's great to be back and back with everyone. Especially with my guy, Obi. Sharif on vacation, so he decided to go a little bit south as well. I hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday, and hopefully you guys had a great New Year's as well, considering I didn't see you guys until Friday. I stepped into the chat for a little bit, but enough of that. Enough of the vacation talk. Let's get right into these markets and see what we have been trading on today's session. There's only been one name on my radar. And that is going to be BA. That's going to be Boeing, Obi. So right now, we go 1 for 2 on this name, slightly red, considering we are still in it right now. We got to do a little bit of a transaction. 229 is going to be my stop, but let's break down our first entry. So we were in at 229.40s. We're gonna do. I skipped roll call. Man, it takes a little while to get back in. Okay, I'm gonna take a step back here before we talk about trading. We're going to get into some roll call. Trade Sniper, Jody Mills. What's up, Kat Mulfair? Who else do we got in here? One Life to Live Together. Welcome back. He says, thank you very much. Brent Roth. What's going on? We got Gab Farigo. How are you doing, my friend? MF Dangerous. Mike P. DeRider. How could we forget you? Brown Lightning. A lot of familiar names, and I love seeing that, guys. Nerd Affiliated. Okay, we like that one. Who else do we got? Arun Warrior. Brent Roth. A couple more. Who is it? We got One Life to Live, even though I already said that one. All right, guys, I'm glad everyone's in the chat, and I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Let's get right into what we were trading here on today's session. So we're going to start this off with Boeing. Why? Because what I seen on Friday was this. So we had a couple catalysts under this name specifically, I believe signing deals with the U.S. Navy and also with Israel for F-15 fighter jets. So I'm looking for the continuation in strength. You can see that we're up approximately 0.8% here in the intraday session, an hour and a half in, which is pretty good. But a lot of this is due to the gap up this morning. Now, as for the price action, it's a lot of sideways movement. We have officially broken the downtrend, so that's why I'm looking for a break of this 230 supply zone. This has been acting as a brick wall, guys. If we can break this, I think we have a pretty good opportunity to head into 231. That's going to be roughly around the high of the day, and that's going to be my primary target. But enough is enough. Let's talk about our previous trades. So you can see, once again, I mentioned that I was in at 229.40, and we had the continuous rejection. I took some off at a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, risking 50 cents, and I take some off at 55 cents. All right, but then we continuously kept bouncing off of VWAP. So I'm like, we're running into a supply zone. Let me take a little bit more. We run into it again, so on multiple occasions, we're running into the same zone. So I decide to remove approximately 50% of my position, a little bit more, that's it. Then we get stopped out, break even. Second attempt was a no-go as it flushed clean to the downside, and I did not have my edge A stop in. I had my stop in. It gave me a little bit of slippage there, Obi, putting us slightly red on the day. But what we can now see is that I'm back in at 229.40, and I'm looking for that 230 level to break. If we break 229, then that's it. I'm gonna take my 3 attempts on this name, and it can do whatever it would like to do after the fact. I would like for it to climb higher, but if it doesn't, by all means, I'm putting in myself, I believe, in a solid position, a strong name with multiple catalysts coming in on Friday and looking for that continuation of strength. This is a NYSE name, and it may take a little bit longer for it to get rolling, but as I'm currently seeing right now, it's not looking too good as we're starting to form a 5-minute shelf, and if that breaches, that's going to stop me out. But enough of me rambling on. Obi, how's your day been so far, brother?
Not too bad, not too bad. We had a little bit of a spicy weekend in terms of global events.
Yes, absolutely.
So definitely looking at some of those in-play names coming into the day today. And you know, I realized I got involved with a couple of names that maybe not a lot of people were watching. I know a lot of people were watching CVX and XOM and, you know, like a lot of oil stocks as well, which was a decent trade as well. But I do want to point out one of the trades that I took here for Pepsi and Coke.
Oh, Pepsi.
Now, why do you think that's related to Venezuela at all? Hold on, let me pull up my. These futures are still on the prior contract on this PC, so H26 is the one that we're on. Let me pull that up. So apparently, I didn't know this until this morning, Venezuela has one of the highest consumption in Latin America for soda drinks.
Oh, okay.
And a little bit of confluence, talking about confluence, not only did both of these names move in the pre-market because of that, they also came into daily and weekly breakdown levels. So I got short on Pepsi right off of the bat, right there. Didn't really reload again at VWAP. That was a good place to reload. But like it was just one of those where you just set it and forget it. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna slap this bid and then risk to the high, and let's see where it goes. Looking for that daily and weekly breakdown to follow through. And let me just pull up the chart here so we can look at it together. What does the daily and weekly breakdown look? So again, not only did it have strong confluence in from the news, from the Venezuelan news, but Pepsi on the weekly here. You know what, we'll go to the daily first. First of all, daily we've already been selling off. So daily breakdown coming in as well. Gap down, extension off of 142s. And take a look at this. Weekly breakdown, which is also a multi-month breakdown as well, a little bit of confluence, coming in and breaking through that 140. So that was pretty straightforward. Didn't really have to manage it that aggressively. I could have definitely got in more aggressively on the retest of this VWAP, but Coke is looking very similar as well. So let's take a look at our friend Coca-Cola. Similar kind of price action here. And prior day, again, more confluence, prior day already sold off pretty aggressively and closed near the lows, and this was also a trend continuation trade on top of the technical break, on top of the catalyst trade as well. Now, this was the explanation I kind of read in the morning here. You can see, if we can just click on that right there, boom. So I'm just going to read this out. Venezuela has historically been a key profit pool for global soda makers, supported by oil-linked income growth, dense urban populations, and some of the highest soft drink consumption levels in Latin America. I didn't have to read any further. I was like, all right, cool, that's nice. The price action came in this morning. We had some continuation off the open, and that's working out pretty nicely as well. Now, of course, I was also watching CVX. Right, CVX, gap up, a nice little gap and crap, if you want to call it that, where you gap up, break those pre-market lows, kind of get that mean reversion back down into some prior levels. We've gotten a low of 159.32, so we came in maybe a little bit of a balance into 160s, and then a reversion back to VWAP there as well. Now we're just chilling in and around VWAP, which is sitting at 162.91s here on the day on CVX. But yeah, no, and the other thing that I got involved with was Amazon. Now Amazon, I took a little bit of a chop on this. Now, not necessarily in play, but it was running pretty aggressively off of the open. So I'm like, all right, there's a bit of a consistent buying happening here. So I'm gonna wait for that buying to be done. Got involved a little bit, got stopped out as it traded higher, and then got right back in when that same kind of thing happened again for a pullback into VWAP. But I think we'll be right back from Midday.
Be aware, guys, speaking of CVX and oil plays in Venezuela, we do have the UN Security Council currently holding an emergency meeting on U.S. operations in Venezuela. It's not totally clear how and or if this will be actually impacting these oil moves, but I'm going to be watching this meeting regardless, and if there's anything of note, I'll let you guys know. Back to you.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, great stuff. Oh, no, nice shorts on Pepsi and our company there. Did you know there's like a town in Mexico that really only drinks Coca-Cola?
I've had the Mexican Coke.
It's all right. It's all right. It's a different. The sugar, I think, is a little bit different. You know what I mean?
It's slightly different.
Interesting stuff. All right, guys. Let's take a look across the board at what names we are going to be looking at today. I actually swayed away from some of the bigger tech names, the NVDAs, AMDs, and I had SMR up here. IBIT, obviously, we're going to be keeping in an eye on, starting to slightly come into play. A nice curl over and a steady channel to the top side, so not too bad. There's QuantumScape as well. Strong activity in Friday session on those names. There's silver, you can't go wrong there. And then here is Boeing, okay? So like my #1 trade idea going in from last night, just writing things down here and looking to find myself and put myself in the best position possible, but it doesn't seem to be the case, and it's not looking too good. This is Boeing down here, consistent lower highs, guys, and then now we're starting to head towards the neckline. I don't have too much more space before I get stopped out. The spread is insane at times. It's starting to tighten up a little bit, but it's going from 16 cents, a little bit higher, 7 cents. So the liquidity obviously being an issue here on Boeing, and I thought we would see some continuation, right? It just doesn't seem to be the narrative. So maybe some sideways price action, and we come back to it tomorrow to see if we're going to get that move, considering it doesn't seem like, as of right now, that it wants to continue to climb any higher. Now, as for Netflix, guys, you know I'm still currently swinging this name. We did break through some key support levels here, so if we did hold these lows, I was going to get out of dodge on this trade. So it broke through. If we opened up south of this candle right there, then it's like, we're going to get out of there. I've been all out of my IBIT position for quite some time on those contracts. I've had them for too long. I would need Bitcoin to climb substantially higher than what my entry price was to even get back to break even, just due to the fact of theta decay. So that thesis didn't work out, and this Netflix thesis, so far relatively flat, but we are shares here, so we don't have to worry about any forms of decay, which is extremely positive. Guys, I think it's not that I think so. What I've expressed over time is that there's a time and a place. I understand that some people only trade them, but there's a time and place in when you want to trade these contracts. And where we're currently sitting at right now in the market, I would say, hey, just be really, really cautious. And if you do want to go the contract route, you know my solution to decay is just buy extremely more time. And I know a lot of people are buying leaps as well. So I think you're headed in that right direction. But if you guys were paying attention this morning, with what Michael Noss was saying is that, hey, we might see a year of chop. And I kind of agree with them, because we're starting to head into that consolidation. If we go through some of the big tech names and we look at the Nasdaq and at the SPY, we've been on a monster move. And I'm going to go on later in the session what we were talking about Microsoft in the middle of the summer, and look what it's up to now. So that's what I got going on. If we can head right back into 229.40s there on Boeing, which we're currently trading at 30s, maybe we'll look to add a little bit more. 230 is going to be that supply zone. If that has the ability to break, then by all means, I think we can be off to the races and head towards the high of the day, Obi.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm looking for the next trade here because, I did get stopped out of this Amazon because, I got involved with this short once again, as I did before, because I was just like, all right, this buying looks like it's done for now. So I do want to get involved once again, back through 233s on the break of trend for a potential reversion back into VWAP. But I still want to kind of stay involved with this one. Let's see where it'll take us here. Yeah, just kind of aggressive buying on the day today. Like, we were up like almost 3-4%. And for no apparent reason here on Amazon. I tried to look for any sort of news. You can see here it's doing a little bit of relative volume, not only today, but from yesterday as well. Yesterday was pretty intense. We had a strong bid off of the open, and then pure flush back through day lows, back through weekly lows. I talked about this consolidation almost day after day when I was on the show last week, and then we actually broke down that consolidation back through 230s for a swipe all the way down to 225s. Now we got to a low of 224.70s here, a little bit of a double bottom, and then look at this aggressive bid right off of the open there, and a decent reversion, I guess, through, if you're taking it through pre-market highs, through prior day consolidation highs here at 228s and some change, and even a back through 230 paid you pretty well because we got to a high of 233.55, now calming down a little bit as we kind of settle back down towards that VWAP. So a lot of buying off of the open. Now, of course, we had some strong market tailwind as well as the ES and the Nasdaq both bid up pretty aggressively off of the open. Another name that I was looking at was Tesla. Tesla here, another name that was sold off pretty aggressively. Now, multi-day selling. This was almost a record sell streak on Tesla. Interestingly enough, it was almost ignited by this 500 failure to follow through. We got all the way up to 498.83s, Joe.
I know, man.
Almost there, and then breaks the trend, breaks some structure, and we got back-to-back jacks for straight sellers in charge, all the way from, what is that, December 22nd to January 2nd, and catching a little bit of a bid today with some distinctly different price action relative to what we've been having over the past couple of weeks here on Tesla. What are you guys looking at? I'm curious. Someone in the chat saying QBTS. Let's take a look at IONQ and then QBTS as well. Let's see how the quantum names are doing. Okay, all right. $50 incoming right now, $49.94. So some strength happening here at the same time. QBTS, let's take a look at this. Same kind of chart here. You know what's interesting, dude? I was reading this this article.
Yeah.
I still haven't finished reading all of it, but I'm just like, oh my God, this is like we are living in those times. And then, funny enough, Elon posts yesterday that we are in the singularity. We have achieved some sort of singularity when it comes to AI, when it comes to artificial intelligence. Now, and people ask, like, what kind of singularity is he talking about? And technological singularity. So for those of you who know what that is, the progress is going to start to become extremely exponential, right? People were talking about how they're getting 10 years worth of work done over a weekend.
Yeah.
Just using AI.
The efficiency of it.
The efficiency, the effectiveness is all, it's going to come so hard, so fast, you're not going to know what hit you in the face. And that's how fast this progress is going to be. So, I mean, it shows up. Why are these companies for the past year spending billions and billions of dollars in this AI infrastructure? For a good reason, because it is the modern arms race. Because if you have a super intelligence, think about all the decisions you can be making as a country, right? Think of the tactical advantage that you have over the rest of the world if you do have that, right? So regardless, all I know is that RAM is going crazy, so Micron was something I was looking at for a bit of continuation. Very strong close that we had prior day with relative volume as well, almost over 2 times. Came in for a little bit of a gap up, and we're getting some correction today coming in off of the open here. 325s all the way down to 310s. 310s? Yeah, 311.5s here on the day now, just kind of consolidating sideways as of right now on Micron. So I was looking for continuation. It did not do what I was looking for, so it kind of took my eyes off of it. And one more name.
One more. What do we got over there, man?
NFLX. Now, no catalyst here necessarily, but we broke this consolidation prior day. This consolidation where we were kind of just chopping around in the low 90s here. People were like, okay, maybe we attempt to get back through 100. And I think I remember telling you, I'm waiting for 75s. Right? And then we broke that consolidation prior day with some relative volume. I was looking for continuation today on that daily breakdown. Didn't really come in, but now we're kind of, seems like we've stepped down onto 90 here. So this is going to be interesting going forward to see where Netflix kind of takes us as of right now. But I don't know. I think I've seen more stranger things than this chart.
Ooh, I get what you did there, Obi. Yeah, other than Catalyst, it got a downgrade, this morning. All right, guys, let's hop out of Boeing here. It's not doing what we wanted to. It's been pretty choppy throughout the day. You can see the spread is wide as well, so we're not going to mess around with it. The intraday price action is not very clean whatsoever. I mean, ran into this trend line, started to reject it. So we'll take 1 win on it, 2 losses there. there on Boeing. And then we're down approximately half our shutdown right now. So plenty of risk, a little bit more, nothing substantial. So we're going to be looking for signs of strength. Boeing doesn't clearly look to be one right now, and I don't think it's going to be right now either. This is a NYSE. If it wants to kind of grab more liquidity before it goes on a run later in the afternoon, then I won't be participating in it, because that's my 2 stabs, and I don't like the spread on that either. I know Adair likes the spreads on this one, so it took too long for it to break.
Which one are we talking about?
Boeing.
Oh yeah, Boeing's one of my friends, yeah.
Yeah, Boeing. Okay, Boeing's one of Adair's friends. Not my friend right now, but that's okay. This is the name of the game. We're out at 229. We did get a little bit of a pop, guys. That gave us approximately 40 cents, a little bit less, but then it came right against us. I was looking for the supply zone of 230 to be broken, and it did not work. So we'll have to document that one down. We'll take 100% stop out on that. It is a loss, and then we take approximately obviously a fixed amount too. There it goes, a nice little pop back up. So we had that stop out there. Now it's starting to climb higher. Let's find something else that we can trade. I just want to document that real quick and see what we got going on. But the channel is still fully intact, so whatever else it has, maybe the 3rd time's a charm, right? You have multiple attempts at the breakup here, so of that 230 level, 1, 2, 3, it failed to even come and test that 230 level, substantially lower, 20 cents. I guess that's not substantially, but it is a little bit lower, obviously, so the supply starting to increase maybe, possibly. Your discipline is inspiring, says Hangry Wife. Hey, man, I'm not the most disciplined. Don't get it, do not get that mixed up. Sometimes I get frustrated as well too, and when that does happen, then discipline out the window. But for the most part, we try to remain disciplined and not get overly frustrated. So what I'm going to be looking at, Netflix relatively strong. We have QuantumScape on our radar. What was it, the one that you pulled up, Obi? QUBT.
Yeah, someone in the chat said QBTS.
QBTS. So when I'm going over charts yesterday, I'm like, okay, the quantum space is hot. Let's get QuantumScape up there, considering Friday's session was relatively strong. Let's pull it up here so we can take a look. And sure enough, there it is, right? So just looking for the continuation within strength, and we didn't get that. And this is what Boeing. So what I'm thinking here now is that I don't think maybe it's not today that we're going to get it. You get the consolidation, right? And then tomorrow is when you're going to have that stronger session. So you'll have that 3-bar style play, and then we'll look to come back to Boeing maybe tomorrow if everything sets up accordingly. And what I'm referring to here is, so you get that big move, you get a slight gap up because you close approximately at 227.80, you open up around 228.58, and then now you're slowly starting to take a breath. The first 15 minutes, relatively strong. So hey, why not look for the continuation in strength? You get that pullback, you have the multiple holds of the volume weighted average price, and then you're going to look for that play of the high of the day test. And we weren't fortunate enough to get it. Maybe this is going to be the move where it goes now after I've taken my stabs, but that's all right. We'll find something else. We'll run through our scanner. Netflix finally starting to climb. My averages 92.44. Keep that in mind. So I am slightly out of the money on that. Nothing substantial in share size. Only 100 shares on that one. And we're going to look for a 10-point move, right? So we're going to look for that to climb right back into the hundreds. That is going to be my game plan. And then also, let's run through some of the quantum names. QBTS, we were just talking about that. We've seen it. Not too bad of a look whatsoever. IONQ, climbing higher. What's RGTI been up to throughout the day? So all relatively the same, with the exception of QuantumScape is QuantumScape the battery? Yeah, I'm pretty sure QuantumScape is the battery company. But anyways, aside from that, a lot of these quantum names, even though it has quantum in there,
that was a funny one. It's always moving.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that for so long, and I'm thinking it was an actual quantum play. So we got to do your due diligence and read in a little bit more. But this nice hammer candle off of this pullback, tried to get long, but orders got rejected, so I had to get this one unblocked here in order to trade it, considering it's 11 bucks. So I thought we would have been good to go, and then instantly you get that move higher, and I wasn't fortunate enough to partake in that. Ethereum, a lot of people are talking about here, Obi, as IBIT climbs up into 53.50. We're going to pull up the options chain momentarily. You guys know that, and take a look at what kind of supply zones we have. But there goes Boeing, stopping me out, and then now starting to climb a little bit higher. Those damn NYSE boys will get you every time.
Yeah, man, you gotta watch out for that. So in the chat, I asked you guys What are you guys looking at? What's in play for you guys today? And you guys came up with some really good names. So let's go and take a look at some of those, because I'm not looking at all those names either. So let's see, John T. 697 in the chat saying NVO, pull up NVO, Novo Nordisk, and this thing is doing some significant relative volume, so good stuff. Thank you for pointing it out. I didn't have it on my radar, but a little bit of a breakout of that opening range high. Maybe we got that, opening session high as well. Opening range high was down here at 54s. We did get that break earlier for that 54.37 test. Pulled all the way back in, reclaim a VWAP. I like this right here because you look like you're selling off, you're pulling back in after a strong bid in the pre-market session. Again, pre-market session confluence with that relative volume above 3 times traded, and then a break of trend with those buyers stepping right back in, reclaiming VWAP, and then this consolidation here. Really, I like this a lot. Where you come in, you break the high a day. You come back in, you sell off, but you can't really sell off anymore. You start to consolidate sideways, you finally kind of break that push as well, kind of showing you that, okay, yeah, maybe buyers are very much in charge today, especially if they can hold it up near the highs for multiple minutes. That's almost 15 to 21 minutes there on Novo Nordisk. So good stuff here. Seems like it gave great opportunities. I don't know what to do with this right now, but thank you for pointing that out. Machiavelli in the chat saying, looking at MU call options. Okay, makes sense, man. This thing is hella strong. Going to the higher time frame, we've been trending up weeks on end. Sure, you have a few red weeks along the way here, but trending up nonetheless since about the beginning of the year. We break that, were these all-time highs? Yeah, those were all-time highs on the breakout of 155. Let's see, let's get specific. 156.50 in the regular trading session were the all-time highs, and currently we are trading at 315. How crazy is that, man? Absolutely crazy. Over 100% push off of that breakout right there. Sorry, from the low of the year, definitely over 100% push. We got about 430% from the low of the year, and that's around the time when, again, President Trump, he said, hey, this is a good time to buy.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So around April, that's where that bid came in, and we're up about 400% on Micron since then. So good call there. BE, Google, and crypto saying Yando Day. 1324. All right, so let's take a quick look at Google here on the day. Oh boy, that's a lot of lines. Let me take all that off. It's more long. Like sometimes I forget to kind of erase my lines or leave a lot of long-term lines up on there. But today, a little bit of a chop, man. I don't know really what to do with this here, but maybe if it's part of your playbook, then yeah, definitely something maybe that you're able to exercise on this. BE, Bloom Energy. We know a lot of people are looking at energy stocks on the day today, again, with the whole Venezuela situation. Yeah, 107.25 highs, a little bit of a chop, sideways action, so shake and bake is what I'm seeing here on BE. Let's take a look at XLE as well while we're here and see how that ETF is doing. Okay, this one a little bit more exercisable. We see that similar kind of move to CVX as well. Strong selling off of the open, 45.76 day lows. And then when that buying steps right back in, we get that beautiful bid right back up to VWAP. But now all these names seem like they're kind of chopping around, holding off in and around VWAP, maybe for a little bit of a balancing act, but we'll see. I'm being patient. I'm watching. Where is the next trade? That's what I'm looking at. And I see that Joe's taking a lot of notes today.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir, man. I'm just getting back to the old ways. Really, you know what, Obi? So I document my stuff on Notion, but I just found that things stuck better in my head when I wrote them down.
100%.
Yeah. 100%. So that's when I first started. That's how I first started. I would document my trades via my notes, and I would document the actual charting. I would obviously save them within a log, but I just want to get back to writing things down, just what's in my mind, how things worked out, and just getting back to essentially the basics and seeing what we can do here in the new year, right? Why not start, day one instead of one day, as those like to typically say. I think that's a good motto to go, boy. Yeah, I log in notebook and digitally, says Ryan O'Day. No Loon. Tulum was amazing. Lots of fun there, guys. Lots of great experiences.
What was your highlight? Highlight of Tulum.
Oh, Zamna. Yeah, it's like a rave. I've never been to one before.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a different experience. Yeah, it was, but with a group of friends, so Celine and I did Zamna. It was insane for those who are familiar with it. And then we also had like a yacht party between me and my friends, so that was a lot of fun. So we got to go around the Mexico, go in the sea, do a little bit of snorkeling, swimming, jump off the boat and stuff like that. Do some 360s and stuff like that. I know Mike Peter, right? Yeah. So that was definitely, and a lot of good dinners as well too. So yeah, did you get up to anything special for New Year's?
Nothing crazy, man. Just like out for dinner.
Nice.
Went out with a couple of friends, and then nothing.
That was it.
Crazy.
Yeah. Next year I'll be in bed for New Year's. I'll be in bed by 11, so we won't be. So I already got that planned out. So we'll see.
That was Jose's plan as well. I was like, what are you doing for New Year's? He's like, I hope to be in bed by 10. I was like,
yeah. So that's how it is. Would I consider a long on NVO? Dear Joe, that's very nice of you. Let's take a look at NVO here, guys. It's going to be the Novo Nordisk. Let's see what we got going on from a daily perspective. We're going to send it over to Adara in one moment. But as we bounce off of these lows, guys, not too bad, 26%. I mean, longer term, today, not too bad whatsoever. Let's actually change this here so we can see the side. Sorry, guys. It does this to me every morning. It's just a bug within the platform. So there it is, Novo Nordisk. A nice bounce off of these lows here at $43. Now looking to continue its ascent higher. But Adara, what do you have for us?
What I have for you guys is a 5-day winning streak here on BTC. That's right, every day since the start of the new year, Bitcoin has been green, and we do not look like we're going to end the streak today. Nice push to the upside for BTC. Now, as we've discussed previously, there's this support resistance level here around 94 halves, currently trading around 93.8. So we might actually test this resistance support today. Now, that's significant intraday. Of course, if you're trading any crypto tickers, so COIN, MSTR, etc., could be names to watch here. Speaking of Coinbase, both Coinbase and Robinhood getting analyst notes from Goldman Sachs this morning. Goldman upgrading Coinbase, but lowering its price target here for Robinhood despite maintaining a buy rating on the company. Before we send you back to Joe and Obi, or Joby, for more trading action, I want to take a moment here to mention, Brenda talked about this earlier today, but I think it bears repeating, this Bank of America story. So B of A here recommending that clients hold up to 4% of their portfolio here in Bitcoin and other digital assets. Now, they're also lowering their barriers for high net worth investors to gain crypto exposure through investment vehicles, so IBIT, et cetera. With that in mind, as this recommendation comes into play, I definitely keep an eye here on these crypto ETFs, including but not limited to the aforementioned IBIT. Back to the Midday, boys.
Done right on. So yeah, guys, let's see what everyone else is. So Hangy Riff says he played. Oh, okay. I don't know if that's a joke or not. Headed to no Machiavelli. No, that back in the day I always wanted to do that, but not so much anymore. I'm a homebody. The more I discovered, I was on like day 3 of the vacation, and I'm like, can I go home already? But no, that's all right. You got to enjoy it while you can. As for the overall market, guys, we have the SPY continuing to slowly grind higher. The Qs almost put in a new high of the day. Some of the names that I'm looking at here, you can see that Boeing started to sell aggressively, ran right into that supply zone for the 4th time here, and then now rejected aggressively. So I'm glad that we didn't take an additional trade on that. We're going to find something that has a little bit more strength. People talking about Novo Nordisk. There it goes. You're now climbing up to 54.76. Looks like it's going to be headed towards that $55 mark. Not too bad of a look whatsoever. But considering we were trading Boeing, we didn't get to do this for quite some time. Let's take a look at the options chain, guys, and see what we got going on with BA and why we continuously reject 230. Now, as for the open interest, I don't think it's going to be large. This isn't the most commonly traded via options here. What's the 16th? Oh, okay, I had the 19th. Okay, I had something. Okay, I messed that up. The old dyslexia kicking in because I had some expiration on the 19th. The 16th is the Friday. So January 9th, guys, we're sitting on approximately 2,300 contracts currently open with 3,000 traded on the intraday session. Let's get over to this expiration cycle, and this is where the supply zone is going to fall into. So there we go. We're recognizing this. We're starting to reject it. 10,700 contracts. 5,900 traded on the intraday session. So keep an eye out on this, guys. Until this is lifted or close to a higher strike price, I'm going to be looking at this as a potential supply zone here on BA. Now, as for QuantumScape starting to reject aggressively, is this a liquid option? Not overly, right? We got a couple thousand here, but you can see the rest is within the hundreds. So we're going to put that to the side and see what we got going on. There's really strong names, so let's head over to QUBT and see what we got going on over here. And if there's anything definitive that kind of just attracts us and say, hey, this could be a potential target. And I'm not seeing anything along those lines either. Market slowly starting to put in a top, I feel like, Obi. Let's let things grind out. If I do trade the overall market, I'm going to have to switch my focus over to the Mag 7, but I'm not really prepared to do that right now. I would prefer to keep my eyes on silver, SMR, as it's coming back into the volume-weighted average price. QuantumScape, that has now broke through some key support levels, continuous rejection of the volume-weighted average price. So let's see if we can find something. Obi, is there anything specific that you had your eyes on from last week leading into this week, spaces or anything along those lines, or what you got going on now?
Yeah, no, I think you definitely mentioned one of them, and that's silver. Man, dude, while you were gone, silver and gold definitely very, very much in play for a decent chunk of the past couple of weeks here, and yeah, stepping up on top of on top of prior day's levels, some of prior week's levels here. We got to a high. Let's just make this bigger. We got to a high last week of 70.76s, and we held a low of 63.53s there on SLV. That's on SLV. So today on the day, kind of knocking on the door of 70. Once again, you can see here a nice little consolidation in the upper part of today's price action, and knocking on the door, I guess, twice so far. You can see could not get above 70 right here around 10:45, and then once again around 10:57. Another knock that doesn't really get us through 70. So maybe we're poised for a little bit of a push going into the later half of the day here on SLV. That's what I'm watching here. And then, of course, GLD as well. Another name from last week. That 400 was a little choppy, but it seems like that 400 held or is holding for now as we gap up and hold above some of prior day prices on gold. But yeah, since the morning bid, we've been kind of chopping around here. Not as distinct as SLV, that 70 level on SLV, but still holding above VWAP and consolidating pretty decently here on the day. So that's really what I have on watch coming in from last week. What else did we have? I think did we have some WBD stuff going on? Maybe, perhaps, but nothing too crazy. Maybe was it UNH had something on Friday? It was definitely doing some relative volume. So yeah, I was watching that. That's coming into high a day as well. So maybe it's a sector move. We saw that Novo is also moving up. So UNH breaking beautiful V-shaped recovery, coming back into some areas from on Friday from last week. You can see that 340, a little bit of a supply zone. Didn't quite get through it, but we did run up all the way to 340 from 327s and some change. So that was a bit of an aggressive move. And yeah, that had a beautiful reversion as well. But seems like the buying is definitely here on the day today, as we could not sell off below this 335, 334 level here on UNH. So yeah, Novo, you just mentioned as well, pushing for that 55. Maybe some strong selling on this past 3-minute candle, but let's take a quick look at XLV to see if there's this bit of a sector move here. Okay, XLV not really looking similar as we sold off coming in off of the open, maybe breaking prior week's lows as well, but a beautiful reversion back to VWAP happening as of right now. We held a low of 152.98 here, and dwindling volume as well. You can see the volume kind of dissipating after the strong selling came in. So watching that a little bit here on XLV. Let's take a quick look at Pfizer as well. So Pfizer, let's see what you're up to. Okay, a little bit of a chop of 25, so nothing too crazy on this one. Maybe a VWAP fade is what I'm seeing right off of the bat, because we attempted to push prior day's highs once again, and then sellers step right back in and around the same areas here on Pfizer. So that's really what I have on my watch right now. But yeah, let us know in the chat. What are you guys looking at? We talked about, everyone has a different playbook, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting to kind of figure out what everyone has a taste for, and whether or not we can kind of implement some of our perspectives and potentially playbooks, price action playbooks specifically, on some of those tickers at the same time. Mara, can she bounce up? Asking TLY5XC. Okay, cool. Mara, let's take a look at some of these crypto names here. Bitcoin was what? I think last I checked back above 90, but we're just chopping around in that 90 zone as of right now. So Mara, nothing too crazy. We had a pretty strong prior day. Once again, coming into the close, almost closing near day highs, gap up. No real significant continuation off of the open, but sideways chop as of right now. So maybe this is another instance of leg consolidation leg. I have no idea, but let's take a quick look at BTC here to see what we're up to. All right, so pushing past that 90, so 94s and some change is the high of today. We came in last night I was looking at this, and it was, back above 92, 93s as well. So broke out of this bit of a consolidation from the prior day as well. But this is just a 3-minute chart. Let's take a look at the weekly and see what is going on this here asset. So we are maybe potentially holding and bouncing. Right, take a look at that. Nice little pullback down to 80K. This was where buyers kind of stepped in earlier as well. Nice, beautiful stair step action here on top of these 21 highs. This 70 was what I was looking for, but we don't got to go back all the way back down to 70. This was a significant breakout when it did happen, and we pull back. And as of right now, we're making higher highs and higher lows on BTC. So, what was that? Let's go back to here. I just want to point out this bit of a trend that's been happening as well off of these breaks. So yeah, you already see some of the technicals I had on here before. Not a lot of technicals on BTC. You can see that comparatively when I'm looking at a Tesla or a Google, you see how many lines and arbitrary chart art that I have on those charts. But BTC, I like to look at multi-month time frames on this one because of the way it moves. And as of right now, holding this trend after a breakout of those prior double top at 70K, looking pretty healthy to say the least. So what I like to look at is, let's say, like a three-month chart here, and you can see here as well, well within range, well within this uptrend as of right now. Nothing has really broken that significantly, except for that, the selling was pretty aggressive back through that 125. Everybody was expecting that 150 to come in real quick, but that 100 break, I say this often. I'm like, can you hold the quarter and can you print the half? So I like to sometimes work in the quarters. Guess what? We could not hold the quarter. We pulled back to the hole, and as of right now, we're doing a little bit of a chop in and around the hole, and by hole I mean around 100,000, the whole dollar mark. We'll be right back from Adara.
Fifth Third Bancorp making a mild move to the upside here. Now, to be clear, the bank is up on the day, but the reason I'm bringing it up now is because, according to CNBC, Josh Brown is calling this one as a long idea, basically saying that the bull market in this stock is ready to be renewed in this year, or 2026. So keep an eye here on FITB, a Josh Brown call. Back to you two.
All right, FITB, thank you very much for that. Adara, what's going on? I'm going to tell you, I've been to Thursday, but never Canada. My son coming. Okay, that's good. Yeah, Machiavelli. How have you not been to Canada, my friend? But no, aside from that, hopefully you guys get to come. Maybe in the summertime, we'll get to see a couple of you guys. But make sure you get those dollar signs, vote, guys. APLD crazy today, says John. If it's crazy, oh no. We had this on our options activity this morning. APLD looking pretty good, guys. And I think there's some strong PA, on Friday. So you're getting the actual continuation and strength here in Applied Digital. And what I was looking for in Boeing, it's kind of identical setups, but totally different spaces. Head over to the daily. Nice, strong setup right here, guys. Leading into Friday session, you get that gap up and you get that gap and go. So that's a pretty good look right there on APLD. I'm going to pull this up as well. Even though it doesn't even really matter, it's all derived from what we had earlier. So it's all derived from the chain. But I'll show you that we were talking about this earlier in the morning, guys. So let's pull this up here. As soon as this loads up, we're going to take a look at it. There goes Netflix as it's starting to head towards the high of the day. But here's APLD. We're looking at that $30 strike price. Right, we're now trading a little bit north of that, guys. We're at 30.40, so that was a pretty good options play, I think, in my opinion. That's going to be expiring on the 16th. Sorry, we should get this. Okay, I don't know why that's. There we go. So yeah, there it is, guys. Strike price 30. That's going to be expiring next week. APLD being one of the strong ones. We had Boeing up there. So it's funny to say, I'm pretty sure SoFi, I haven't looked at SoFi this morning. So yes, SoFi having a fantastic session, right? So we're looking at these three names, SoFi having a fantastic session, APLD having a great one. And then the one that I'm going with, Boeing, decides to not, just kind of not as strong as it's as some of these other names. But that's okay. We'll look for some other signs. We got the right idea. We had the right names in play here this morning, with the exception of Boeing, not necessarily doing what we want to, and that's why we're going to remain patient. This is the only ticker that I've traded throughout the intraday session. And I'm going to wait for some prime time opportunities. I think this market can potentially slowly curl over, but I think you want to be patient enough to wait, and that might not be to the later half, right? Like 2 o'clock, 2:30, and that's when you start to see that curl over, and maybe you get that move back into the volume-weighted average price. It may even be sooner, right? Hopefully for the shorts it is, and if it's not, then by all means, sit on your hands, give yourself a couple of opportunities to get involved with your thesis and your trades, and then take it from there. But Netflix now putting in almost a new high of the day. You can see on the previous 5-minute candle, we did touch that. I like seeing that somewhat signs of strength here in NFLX. I would love to see 103, so that's approximately $11 from here, and then I can slowly start to piece them out in my position, but we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, all right? If we do happen to crack that $90 level and hold it, then we're out of that trade. We're going to sit on our hands. There we're 100% cash. I'm into Netflix. That's my only position right now. And I know Machiavelli was asking, he said, you and Neil made a bet asking if I made a trade over my break. No, I did not. And I very rarely looked at the markets. There's only a couple of times when I glanced at it because it's always on my phone, see what Bitcoin was up to. But I think it was just a good opportunity to reset, because the market essentially never really does. It's just a continuous flow. So not once in a blue moon, it's not a bad idea to take a little bit of a break, reset yourself, and then just be prepared, getting back to the basics, writing things down, getting back to documenting everything that you need to do, and then trying to perform as you best possibly can, getting in that peak performance, in that flow state, as they would like to say, Obi. If you can enter the flow state, then you are rocking and rolling. There goes Netflix, Obi, new high of the day up to 92.50. It's definitely been strong. SoFi putting in a new high a day as well, guys. So keep an eye out on a couple of those names. They're performing pretty well on today's session.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of building back my watch list here of all the names that kind of looked like they were in play coming in on the day here, and yeah, some of the oil names catching a little bit of a bid back towards their opening range prices here. So I do have eyes on XLE. We kind of talked about it. It's kind of chopping around this VWAP as of right now. XOM as well. You can see catching a bit of a bid. So buyers have been somewhat here since about 10. What is this? Around 10 o'clock. And pushing back up to opening range highs. So this is going to be interesting to me if we can get back through open on this. We did revert all the way into, see, look at this bounce, man. Closing strong prior day, pulls back, pretty solid selling off of the open, gap up, right? So you know, maybe bit of a gap up on oil. Participants maybe thinking it's a little mispriced, and then pulling back into prior day's highs, and then that's where the bid catches on once again as well. So now the question becomes, are buyers now strong enough to pull through that opening range high, pull through some of these pre-market consolidation highs, and all the way, pre-market highs are sitting at 128.52s here on XOM. I was looking at CVX as well, because Chevron definitely a little bit more related to the news, and they were saying about how, you know, they have the potential to ramp up to 50,000 barrels or something like that. Now, if the United States starts to, you know, really put their hand into the business there. But yeah, 164 is currently trading, and yeah, the gap up was interesting, but you know, maybe it was a little too far too fast, and that mean reversion, that balance, that correction came in quite nicely off of the open. But you know what? It seems like as of right now, definitely buyers in charge. So those are the two main names I have on watch on the day here in terms of the oil sector here. Let me know in the chat if I'm missing any stocks as well. And other than that, I kind of mentioned the ones earlier as well, Pepsi and Coke. I'm involved with Pepsi right now, still holding in and around some of these levels, right? We're making lower highs as well. Let's see if we can kind of crack this once again. I'm maybe potentially looking for a mid to end of day continuation if we can kind of come back in through VWAP and sellers step right back in. I'm watching this price right here, 240 quarters, 240 25s-ish. That was in and around that opening range low as well on this name. I guess the opening session low, you can see here, if you're using a 5-minute opening range, obviously that's not as low. That breakdown was absolutely nice as well, straight through the 141s. That's kind of what I took there. I didn't realize I took the 5-minute opening range break, but that is what worked pretty well. Tests into VWAP have been working well in terms of the sell side pressure coming right back in and around those areas. And if you take a look at the weekly as well, a bit of a trend to the downside over the past 4 weeks. So this is, it's confluence with more of the same. That's why I liked this a little bit more as well. Now, of course, Pepsi is not something I trade every single day, but when it is in play, I'm definitely watching some of the stocks that are in play and trying to exercise my abilities to the best. My abilities? Yeah. So we'll see. What are you guys saying? Watching JPM and Silver Run saying jaywalking. All right, so let's take a look at some of these banks.
Oh, I get it. Jaywalking. That's a good one.
Nice. So, wow, look at this. Weekly, banks are so strong.
Yeah,
banks are so strong. Again, the Canadian just TSX is absolutely strong as well. But Canadian banks are just straight ripping to the upside at the same time. So JPM, let's see what that looks like here on a shorter time frame.
It's funny that the TSX is kind of performing so well, but Canadian GDP is just going down the drain.
Yeah, I don't know how any of that works, but yeah, stonks are definitely straight up with the bids. Yeah, what's up, Adara?
Do you guys know what's happening in 10 minutes? I do. Qualcomm is starting their Snapdragon presentation, including the launch of X2 Snapdragon here, Snapdragon X2. That'll be at CES 2026. Again, it is Media Day. So keep an eye here on QCOM. Here's a fun infographic on X at TTV Research. Shameless self-plug here for QCOM that you can find there. I also want to let you guys know I am working on an infographic displaying all of the many prominent publicly traded companies that are going to be attending CES 2026. Given that it's like, you know, around 60 companies, this might take a little bit longer than we thought, but that will be posted very soon here on X at TTV Research. Of course, it will debut here as well on the show for all of you. Again, 8 minutes now until Qualcomm takes the stage at the CES 2026 event. And I also want to let you guys know, apparently they're going to be mentioning ARM integration as well. So ARM and QCOM, two tickers to watch for. I'll be keeping an eye on them myself so I can let you guys know how they react, if anything. Back to you.
Daria, Obi just talking about silver. I mean, we're not far off of the previous all-time high right now, Obi. It looks like it's going to head in that direction. This stuff is really strong. For me, I don't know why. I just have an issue just buying it all the way up here, but who knows what can happen. I mean, the gold and silver have been on an insane run for the past couple of months, even longer, guys, from those April lows. You're getting a triple here almost essentially, so you get 150%. That's a big time move from 25 bucks now trading up to almost $70 once again, $71. So that's a really good look. As for GLD, that is super strong as well, guys, as you're heading towards this previous high. I mean, I'm so surprised because at this consolidation, I'm like, okay, we're holding up. I was expecting a move, but maybe not this aggressive, right? Going from $300 all the way to $403. So you catch that 33% return in the span of a couple of months, right? From July to October. So that's really good. And then sure enough, you get that pullback. It wasn't deep at all. I think we're looking at 10% if we're lucky. Yeah, so there it is, 10.62%, a little bit less than that. And then sure enough, right after that pullback, you're headed right back in towards those highs once again, guys, at $420 here on GLD. Joe, give him last 2 times. Sorry, I didn't. I don't quite understand what you're saying. But yeah, that's what I got going on here, guys. I'm looking at Netflix. Maybe we'll head over to the quantum space. Here's PBR. This is Brazilian petroleum, just in case, Assassino, if you were curious about that one. It's not Pabst Blue Ribbon for all my fellow Americans. It is, hold on, let me pull it up here. I don't know what I did to my screen. So Pabst Blue Ribbon right here, Petróleo Brasileiro right there. So this is some oil play, guys, on PBR. Not too bad of a look whatsoever. It's starting to climb right back towards the volume-weighted average price, so not too bad of a move there. Guys, I'm just running through my scan. I don't want to sway too far away from my game plan, but you have to be nimble a little bit as well. So if that's going to be the case, we want to document as much as we possibly can. And as to why we're starting to sway away, one, I think I'm just a little bit too late on my earlier plays, considering I had QuantumScape on my radar. I had some of the other quantum names aside. This is a battery play, but I actually had the quantum space on my radar. Those were performing really, really strong here today. So now Boeing not doing what I wanted to. What is that next potential setup? And I think we're going to be patient and sit on our hands a little bit here, guys, and wait for a high quality. So just be patient with us and give us that time to find those trades, because once we do put them on, Obi had that really nice trade on Pepsi. We had an okay one here in Boeing, but we're going to put on plenty more. We're just going to wait for that quality setup that's going to put the most amount of probability within our favor there, Obi.
Yeah, I totally forgot. I just checked my morning watch list here. There was one more name on watch, and that was Comcast. Comcast did a little bit of a spin-off this morning or whenever recently, and we had a bit of a drop here. I think if I measured it, if I remember correctly, about 6%. Yeah, about 6% drop coming into the open, basically saying that the spin-off basically takes whatever those, I guess, some of those channels or news outlets, and kind of takes that value out of the stock. Maybe investors thinking along the lines of that as well. But we had a bit of a bid coming in, but that bid seems like it's done as of right now. So back through this 28.80 level, couldn't really get through 29s. Let's see if we can get a bit of a reversion back down into VWAP here and see if those sellers can step right back in. But Comcast was another one that was definitely in play. But coming in off of the open, I was looking for a little bit of a flush, that continuation to come in. That didn't really happen right away. So I'm looking at it, I guess, now, just thinking like, okay, cool. Do we get that selling pressure coming right back in? 28.90s is the high, currently trading at 28.50s. And I also got into a bit of Qualcomm, so thank you, Adara, for reminding us that that event is happening today. And honestly, I'm like, okay, well, if this event is happening today, we've been kind of grinding up. Is it going to be a sell the news event? Because most of these, I guess, a lot of these tech events seem to have a tendency to sell off the stock when they start or when they finish. So just getting involved a little bit lightly here just to see and get a feel for what the price action kind of looks like. But yeah, with that event starting very soon, I do want to keep eyes on Qualcomm at the same time as well. It was already getting a little bit of selling off of the highs there, 178s and some change, almost got to 179s, but pulled back, consolidated around 78s, now pulling back into VWAP, which is sitting just above 177. So just taking a quick little scalp to see if that'll come in, just feeling out the pressure there. But yeah, what are you guys trading? What are you guys up to? FIGR set a new all-time high today. Yeah, I know. I was looking at that a little earlier as well. Some of the pod members talking about that this morning. Figure Technology. Now this one was that recent IPO, right? Recent IPO. Let's see how long it's been since the IPO. It feels like it was just yesterday, but you know, it's I think it's definitely been a few months. Wow, look at that. Yeah, September of last year. So it's definitely been what was that? Yeah, 4 or 5 months since that happened, and finally consolidating and breaking out of that consolidation. You know, who would have figured this one out? Nice little hold of that 35 as well. So I guess, you know, I liked the IPO. It was one of the larger IPOs of last year, and it seems like it's coming along, getting digested pretty well here after a strong consolidation for multiple months in about roughly a $10-15 range here on FIGR. So yes, thank you for pointing that out in the chat as well. I just remembered, and again, pushing to the day highs as of right now. So decent relative volume on that all-time high break, held VWAP, extending away from VWAP as of right now, and doing about 6.5 to 7 times relative volume on the day. Beautiful breakout of prior day highs right off of the open. Not even off of the open. Sometimes you see that pre-market action, the action that comes in right before the open. It's almost like that action is like front running, which I do think that's.
I think so as well too.
And then
yeah.
You get that continuation with aggressive strength and volume through the opening print, and that's exactly what we're seeing here on Figure Technology.
What what do you like to see? So say the previous night before, whether it be on Blue Ocean or after the market close, you see a potential setup leading into the pre-market and closer to the open. We'll say the last 2 hours, so from 7:30 up until 9:30. What is something ideal that you're looking for within that pre-market price action?
Honestly, like I'm looking for anything that looks distinct. Has there been a buyer? Has there been a seller? Or is there a dominance there? Or are there levels that are easily pointed out? Sometimes you can see that, you know, maybe there's some resistance holding it down in the pre-market, or some support. But that pre-market range I really like as well. So like if we're taking a pre-market breakout or breakdown, I'm looking at the highs and lows of that time to be like, okay, do we get some sort of a breakout, some sort of a continuation through this, so we can take a quick opening scalp at the same time. So yeah, opening drive scalp, let's say. And yeah, that you know, when it works okay. But there's a lot of other nuance as well that's related to that, like you know, catalyst, relative volume, and prior, like weekly, monthly trends as well, daily breakouts, breakdowns. Do we have some sort of confluence with that? That can definitely strengthen some of those pre-market levels. But we're going to go to happening now and Neil's lesson of the day. See you guys soon.
This market is continuing to try to push to the upside after a strong gap up here for the Nasdaq. As you can see, a little bit of resistance here now at 620.80s. We cleared that previous area of resistance around 620. Currently trading near there. But what's interesting is there isn't really one story moving the market. Rather, there are a lot of themes and sectors on watch. NVDA breaking into a new low of day as we speak. NVIDIA and these other AI plays, including Intel and AMD, as well as Qualcomm, they're all going to be at watch as all 4 of the companies I just named are giving either presentations or keynote speeches at CES 2026. Again, I will have some content on CES for you guys on XOM Research to shed some more light, so stay tuned for that. But again, in the meantime here, NVDA certainly selling the news on that. Also, a lot of upgrades and downgrades on watch. PYPL got downgraded this morning and does not seem to care. This is day's highs for PayPal. The negative note from Maness, Crespi, and Hart, literally saying they wish they had sold earlier. Then we've got UBER, much like PayPal, recovering from a lot of this early weakness on that downgrade. Other sectors on watch here, of course, oil with actions in Venezuela. As I mentioned, the UN currently holding a Security Council meeting on Venezuela. I'm listening to that. CVX initially pushing lower here off the open, but trying to bounce. One more sector to mention here is going to be in the crypto space. Coinbase and Robinhood both getting analyst notes from Goldman Sachs, but MSTR once again announcing more Bitcoin purchases. So quite a few sectors to keep an eye on as we head into the rest of the day. But before we get to Neil's lesson and then the rest of the midday, we're going to take a look here at Origenics, OGEN, because concussions demand fast solutions. NYSE listed Origenics, OGEN, is developing one designed to reach the brain quickly and non-invasively. So learn more by scheduling a meeting today. And back to you and Neil and his lesson.
Lesson of the day here is with our incredible team putting out fantastic content, is if you make like the slightest slip up with any kind of a pun or whatever it might be, they're gonna get you. And I'll get to the lesson in a quick little second, but I gotta shout, I actually don't know if this was Ramin or Fabian, but it doesn't really. Someone's guilty of this because I tried to attempt, I'm gonna show you guys the link right here. I attempted this morning to discuss an actual oil refinery ETF, which so happened to be CRAK. And of course, it turned into, as we have such a mature crowd, exactly what you think it should, because I realized that the second I said it, I was trying to be like half funny, and I thought it would just be that, then we could talk about the nuts and bolts, but you can check it out, some fun, either Fabian or Ramin getting us there. And look, don't get me wrong, I feel like if you speak long enough in front of a camera, in front of a team like ours, there's going to be some moments out there, whether intentional or not. That's how it's going to be. Anyways, that's not really the lesson, but check out the video. I think it's quite funny. And thank you to Fabian and Ramin and Andre. Our entire team is fantastic. But what I do want to talk about is there's different types of trades, and specifically, there's different types of longs that you might get involved in. They're all pretty obvious, but being able to distinguish between them can really make the difference in your day. And I just want to, there's three obvious ways that you can be long or you can take a long. Now, you can be catching the dead cat bounce or like a falling knife, where I think what you're looking for is something that it's downward trending, but you like a level, you like an area, you like a setup, you get in, you get out, and make sure that you're not fighting the trend. The example of that would be, say, an Intel. And there's nothing wrong with this long, but I'll show you some better examples that you'd hopefully have better stocks if you take advantage of. Yeah, you can bounce off that prior low. We can do a little trend break, but there's no follow through past the volume weighted average price. As a matter of fact, you see it falling lower. What you notice about this, where it's like the dead cat bounce long, usually it's a pretty, for lack of a better term, a lot of times it's an A+ short setup in disguise, false break of the high, big flush, big VWAP retracement, get the short, but if you're long biased, you really have to pick your spots very well. I always say I'm getting away with one on stocks like this because it's a very clear and obvious downtrend that you can catch some dips on. NVDA would be another example of something like this. The other type of long, I think, is a little bit more obvious. Something along the lines of what silver is doing right now at VWAP. By the way, this is distinctly different, so I'm not just sitting on the bid here. Where you're dip buying into a clear upward trend. Where you're dip buying, but you want to buy upward trend. Now, I didn't really add on silver, so I could make the example of something like an IBIT where it dips. I might have missed that, but then you're buying dips on an upward trend. This one, the way I see it is I say you, but I mean myself. I want to have more executions on something like this because you can be a little bit more aggressive is not the right word, but you can be less picky when you're buying the dip on an uptrend in terms of just finding a few longs. I can have one or two in here that don't work because you're getting some real continuation when you're with the trend. Whereas with the trade on an Intel where it's that falling knife kind of idea, if I'm not one entry, get in, get out kind of thought, it's against the grain. That's what I want it to look like. But if it's with the trend and you're buying the long in the dips, you can get away with a little bit more of an aggressive entry strategy. Now, there's one more out there, and I want to shout out to everyone that's been putting RKLB into the chat. I don't know that I would have seen this, and I didn't trade this one today. Was it Rocket Lab? No, it wasn't Rocket Lab. It was Roblox. It was Roblox. I know Sean talked about this one a little bit. No, it was Roblox, not Rocket Lab. And the other setup would be the reversal. And the thing that sets the reversal apart is oftentimes technically, it goes from being an obvious short, lower highs and all that stuff, to not only giving you a reversal entry, which can be explosive, but then it starts that trend trade, which can be a really easy setup to visually see when it does the reverse. Now, there's all kinds of patterns. It could be like a clean V shape and then breaking out the top. This one isn't. This follows a little, this is about as clean of a W pattern as you're ever going to see. This is 930. Right, so at 930, you fail that high and immediately start coming down. Make a double bottom, lower high. There's your obvious W pattern. I'm not drawing it for anybody. But then once you break back out here, not only is it a long all in here and buying back into that prior high, but then it starts working into the higher lows. So it goes from what is a short setup, where you might have been going for that Intel strategy, just catch that one long, to a reversal and then following the trend. When you find something like this, you could literally be doing the best of both worlds here. You could be doing your picky dip buys. You can be doing just a clean reversal trade. Then you can be going along with the trend. The key thing is, two of those three strategies, it's okay to be aggressive on if you're taking multiple trades because there's something working about it to the upside. You don't mind if you're like long once, twice, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6. You could have 6, 7 longs in something like this. If you got a bunch of longs in silver or like IBIT today, you could be all over the place. You could be taking longs and they would have worked out. That said, if something is trending down like Intel or say like an AMD, which I was in earlier and I got away from, if you're just all over this, eventually you're gonna get burned. So understanding the type of long it is can get you away from over trading the ones that aren't setting up for that follow through. And maybe if you're gonna over trade or just take a bunch of trades, look for the ones that are with the trend or with some kind of a reversal. And maybe not just, hey, I'm just gonna keep buying this and the one that's trending down and hope that it goes. It's such an easy and simple thing, but let's be real. If I was still on AMD, I might be thinking, but look at how well it's held 224. And it's not that it hasn't, but 224 and then stopping out here at 225, like it's a very tight range. It's a $200 stock. $1 is 0.5% on this stock. Yeah, sure, you could be doing that, or you could look at what silver was doing, where you're getting dips at 69.25, and then you're getting almost a full percent, and you're getting it more times, and then when it explodes, you're getting a much bigger move. Like you're getting entries on an uptrend where you could be holding a piece of it, and then you actually get more out of it because it's going in your favor. It's a lot easier to buy support on a uptrend, than it is to try to grab it on that flat bottom stock. Because what happens there is when the flat bottom breaks, you're gonna get burned a heck of a lot harder. Here in silver, you're just worried about trailing out because you're on trend. And trailing out means usually that last trade's profitable if you're doing it correctly. So understand the different types of trades that you can be doing. There's nothing wrong with any of them. You could have made money on some of those other chip names off those lows, but it's just a little bit easier to be joining the trend. Or, like we showed on that Roblox, which I wish I was in, you can find some reversals, which give you multiple entries and exits. So, there's nothing wrong with being aggressive and taking multiple trades on an individual stock, but you want to have a preference to doing that in the ones that are setting up the best for it. Not just because it's working, you want to make sure you're doing more of the ones that are working better. There's your lesson of the day, and thank you to Ramin and Fabian for that fantastic video. Stay off drugs, but CRAK is an interesting ETF.
Yeah, I have a couple stories to tell you guys about. One of them involves MSFT, Microsoft acquiring Osmos. This was just announced here. Apparently, the goal here is to accelerate autonomous data engineering in Fabric, quote unquote. So again, autonomous data engineering acquisition for MSFT. Now, we'll talk here about CVX, also COP and XOM. All three of these companies are executives within the oil industry saying about these companies that the Trump administration has not had conversations with any of the three about Venezuela before or since the capture of Maduro. So again, CVX, XOM, and COP apparently not in conversations with the Trump administration with regards to oil in Venezuela since or before the capture of Nicolas Maduro. As we send you back to the Midday Boys.
Thank you.
So does that mean, thank you very much, but does that mean that the selling is going to come in on some of those oil names? I don't know. Did gap up maybe in anticipation, but yeah, it seems like, again, more reason to keep an eye on some of those stocks. NVIDIA, though, we were just talking about NVIDIA. Yeah. Look at this breakdown that just happened on increased volume and maybe a little sustained volume. As take a look at those prior three-minute bars. 4 of them actually kind of all similar size, so maybe sustained selling there. We did see that on the chart, but catching a little bit of a slowdown here on top of that 187 on NVDA.
Hey, 187? That's crazy.
Yeah, that 187.
That's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, so that 187 coming in as the day low. Let's see if those sellers can continue to hammer that bid and see if that volume stays consistent as well. Disney ripping, saying the real Gary. Okay, real Gary, yeah. Let's see if DIS has some magic for us.
There goes Boeing.
Oh, wow, look at this. There's a buyer on Disney. Hello.
Is there?
That's interesting. Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
That's just a straight line up. Very consistent trend here. So right away, you guys know what I like to do with these. Where are you running? Why are you running? I have no idea. But I want to participate when that buying is definitely done. 115 test as of right now here on Disney. So thank you for pointing that out as well. The oversold cup on 187. I don't know. Tesla trending nicely. A couple of people saying is at the same time. So let's take a quick look at Tesla as well if we're gonna watch some of these megs at the same time. Okay, high a day breakout happening here on Tesla. We talked about that Tesla earlier today and just said that was record back-to-back selling on Tesla that we hit on Friday. And yeah, coming in for a bit of a reversion, a bit of a bid coming back in on the day today, back above 444s, that pre-market session low in and around that area, and then the highs as well, 446s. So tight consolidation, about a $2 consolidation for majority of the pre-market session, and we come in and break out pretty decently to the upside on this name here. What's going on, Joe?
Yeah, some good stuff, man. I got my eyes on Apple, Gaurav. There might have been a solid print there right at the lows, approximately around 12:11 here this afternoon at 267.73 is going to be approximately that low of the day. We're starting to get that pullback that we want here in AAPL, and the exact same with SLV. SLV I would rather go with, but it kind of just blew past what I was looking at, and this is going to be the exact 1 minute print here, right? I talk about the detail, and obviously price action is extremely important, and in my humble opinion, each candle tells its own specific story, and this is what we're looking for, is like, what is that next puzzle piece? What is that next step that we can take? So SLV is starting to see some buying pressure, and the key is, like, when you're trying to play these bottom catching moves, if you play it correctly, you can get some pretty good risk to reward ratios. There it goes. Okay, so it went past. We're gonna post up there, guys, at 40s here on XLV to see if we can catch a fill. We're gonna go half risk on that one. We're now printing, okay, so we're involved in some SLV, and I think I'm gonna try some Apple as well, just in case we get a nice sustained bounce in a couple of these names. I mean, silver's been significantly stronger than AAPL, but I like what we got going on, and maybe we might be able to find somewhat of a recovery here. NVIDIA 5 minute, it says Gaurav, we're gonna take a look at that momentarily, but here it is. Or I should probably look at it right now, considering Gaurav's calling it out, and you don't really wanna miss those call outs at all. So there's the 1 minute trend. Maybe we can get a move back to the top end of this channel on AAPL. So let's start really small here, guys. I found a couple potential setups that we're really liking. I'm gonna post up at a price that I exactly want. And the great thing is that I don't have to risk much. Right, as soon as we break that candle, I'm posted up there at 85s. I'm giving it 20 cents. That's it. So as soon as we head into 65s, we're at a dodge. A nice little pop there in AAPL. Let's see if this move can be sustained. The top end of this channel would be prime time Deion Sanders. Now going back to what Gore was mentioning on NVDA, I don't even have to look at it. Obi and I took a quick glance at it not too long ago, and we're like, oh, okay, so this is an additional leg. So you have the move lower, you absorb some liquidity up here, then you move, consolidate for quite some time, and then now you make that additional move. So let's see what we got going on. It's at an extreme low, so if we get a lot of volume and we have an hammer candle printed at that specific zone, I like our chances. But there goes silver, a nice little pop in SLV. I don't even know how many shares I have, to be honest with you, on this thing. Oh, okay, not too bad. We'll take it for sure. A nice little pop to the top side there in SLV, and then now we're gonna wait for Apple to work out. There is NVDA as well. Let's pull up these names so you can see clearly what we got going on. SLV being the better performer currently, that things can change really quick. As of late, when I've been trading Apple, hasn't been the best for me, but I like our chances considering the market isn't overly weak and we could get a nice sustained bounce. So boom, just like that, we're in at 69.40s. We posted up at the exact level that we were looking for. So now let's see, we are risking 20 cents. That's gonna put us around the low of the day. So we wanna wait until at least a 1-to-1 or a 1.5-to-1 risk to reward ratio before we take anything off, so it's worth our while, all right? This can work or it won't. It's that simple. I'm gonna make it that black and white. We don't wanna complicate things. 69.20 is our out. Now let's see if we can get both of these names to start working for us. A nice little pop there, strong tape. I'm gonna have to change this filter on this, guys, because this can tell us a lot. The ladder on the level 2, extremely important. Now let's head over to AAPL and see what we got going on that front. We'll head over to this so we don't have any mistakes. Boom. Oh, okay, so a little move. I thought we would get more of a bounce, but But as soon as we break 62s, we're out. We're in that 85s. We break 65s. See you later. 20 cents worth of risk on both of these names. We're looking for 40. That will put us approximately at 268.20s there. 25s is going to be that precise profit target here on AAPL. That's going to give us a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Obi, what are you looking at, brother?
I'm looking at this market potentially turning here, specifically more on the Nasdaq than the ES. You can see here we did some wicking action here. We're still holding higher highs and higher lows, so I do have to remember that as well. But 25 sevens. Nice little strong wick there on the 1145 candle, pulling right back in. At the same time, we saw what NVIDIA did. NVIDIA kind of broke down pretty aggressively through the day low, through that 189, and gave us 187s. Let's take a quick look at what some of these, the rest of these mags are doing. Softy is definitely distinctly different here as it pushes up towards its highs. And there's a couple more that are kind of similar as well, and you guys have definitely pointed them out in the chat. Tesla as well, we just talked about that one. Tesla pushing its highs as well, and Amazon I just got involved with as well. Some strong selling coming back in at a place where selling was before. We attempted to push to stay high, only got about 20-30 pennies above, but you know, I gotta consider a little bit of this as well. We're pulling into this trend, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe 4 touches. We're coming in for the 4th touch right now here on this trend. But yeah, a little bit of a break of trend. Let's see if that brings in some selling as it did before in and around this similar area on Amazon. Apple as well. You can see here going through the day low. So we attempted to push through 271s. Didn't really happen. Made that lower high back through VWAP. Consolidation below VWAP. Now breaking through that opening range low, which is coming in and around 268s, 267, 80s ish. Let's get specific. 267.85 was that opening range low there on Apple. And that is getting pushed through to the downside as of right now. So maybe slightly different than the rest of them. Google here as well. Google pushing through its lows, or it already did that a while back around 1150, but holding below that as of right now, holding lower highs and lower lows as well. One of the members in the chat did point out Google is one of the stocks that they were looking at. Maybe they were anticipating a bit of a sell, especially after that first candle gives us a strong wick, just being like, all right, well, we're going to attempt to push up decently as well. We're going to attempt to push up all the way from, what time is this? In the pre-market, in and around 9 o'clock. So the half an hour going into the open, we did accelerate with a strong bid. We got a bit of follow through coming in, but that got just slapped right down from 19s to back to 17. So that got pulled down maybe about, I guess, from the highs to that opening range low, about a 1% range. And now we've slowly trickled all the way back down. So some of these leaders are pulling in. Okay, there we go. There's a bit of a cover on Qualcomm, a quick 50 penny scalp there. Interestingly enough, I was looking at this earlier and I was like, I got to be in a little bit earlier here, but wasn't really looking at it until Adara brought it to our attention. Seems like it is working out as well. And the market tailwind is what I'm looking for here on this Amazon, which is, by my standards, a little extended on the day, a little extended off of some of its opening range areas here. And if NVIDIA is going to pull back and Apple's going to pull back, again, one of the 2 top constituents of the market here. And I think Softy's up there as well. Softy's kind of holding the line here, maybe with the strong bid that's been happening. But I haven't been on, I think it's Slick Charts in a while. Let's take a quick look at what the composition is of both the ES and the Nasdaq as of right now. It's always a little bit of a race in terms of, you know, these are market cap weighted indices. So just taking a look at who is the leader and just keeping that in mind as well. So right here, NVIDIA coming in at, where's the percent? Okay, right there, at a weight of 13.5, just over 13.58. And then we got Apple. So Apple and NVIDIA, the 2 largest constituents of the Nasdaq, breaking through their lows. Does that confluence with the break of trend on the Nasdaq as well? The Nasdaq did bid up, right? Because you have Google that was kind of chopping sideways. Amazon was ridiculously bid. Tesla is up here as well, number 9. But let's take a look at, I know Meta was being bid pretty strongly as well, so we'll take a look at that one in a second. But Meta and AVGO and Tesla all kind of within the top 10. ASML here. Palantir, look at this one. This one's slowly creeping up to its highs, or the highs of the constituents as well, as it makes its way up maybe into 10th place eventually. Currently sitting at 1.24%. Weighting in the Nasdaq. So I like to take a look at these. Let's take a quick look at the S&P 500 as well. See what the constituents are looking like here. Similar story. NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta, Broadcom, Tesla, but Berkshire's up here as well, so I want to keep an eye on that. And Lilly, JPM. So I like to look at these. Walmart, of course, as well. But yeah, some of those potentially coming in at the same time. Let's see if Amazon can follow through here. Google, there we go, more flushing to the lows. Let's take a look at Meta here. This is what I was talking about, Joe. I was like, yeah, very strong off of the open. Absolute strength through that 650, trading at a high, or hit a high of 664 halves, currently at 6.2s. And some change, but reverting a decent chunk, almost 100%. Actually, yeah, exactly 100% of prior day's action, where we had some strong aggressive selling, almost 3% down from the day opening range highs to the day lows, but did a little bit of a balance going into the end for, let's say, I guess a 1 to 2, is this 1%? We'll say roughly about 1.5 to 2%. Let me get specific right here. Boom, right there. Yeah, 1.5% reversion back going into the close here on Meta. Bit of a follow through of that bid coming in now on the day on Meta platform. So Meta probably the strongest one out of the bunch, I would say, other than Amazon as well. And of course, Tesla's up there alongside some of those. So let's see what you guys are up to here. Mike the writer is laughing in the chat. I don't know what is the joke, but I guess I'll have to. This guy's always laughing. RDW, he's talking about. Okay, let's see what RDW is up to here. Redwire Corporation. Okay, nice. That's pretty strong to the upside. Breaking through that $10 as well, doing some relative volume at the same time. There goes the ES with a little bit of pullback. So hopefully Amazon can follow through soon enough. Let's see on the higher time frame what this RDW looks like and what might be so funny in the chat at the same time. Okay, so a little bit of a bounce off of these lows where buyers have been before. I guess in 24, there's some strong buying on this name from around these prices, $5 to $6 all the way up to 24s. Another bout of buying here in 25, where around 5 to 6, I guess $6-ish, 7 was the lowest we got, and then we got some buying all the way up to 21s. It seems like this is the area, Joe, that the buying is happening over the past half a decade there. So came back into $5 here, catching a little bit of a bid at $10 now as well. So question, Mike DeRider, are you looking at this weekly? Are you looking at the monthlies? And are you looking at these same areas where the buyers were there before and looking for that bid to come in and confluence some of that trade? That's the question I have for you. ONDS saying Rivian millionaire at the same time. So let's see what that is up to. I know some of my members in the pod were trading this name this morning as well. Very interested in this one. Okay, coming in for an all-time high break? No, it is a weekly breakout of this level. And what was that price? That was at 1170s. Today's high 1174. So we just pushed past it by 4 pennies. Let's go to a 15-minute chart and see what ONDS has been up to on the day. Okay, a little bit of a bid and holding near day highs as of right now, 1164. So good look there, guys, on some of those names you got going on.
Absolutely. So yeah, guys, we got stopped out of AAPL. We'll head over to that momentarily. I posted up at 69.60s again, but it came up against me. We only took a small bit off. This might come back to our break even, but we hit that 1-to-1 target, in which I was referring to. We're in at 60.40s. We're risking to 69.20s, and then we get some out at 69.60s. So holding our own on this front. Apple did not work out with us. Trying to catch a falling knife, and I'm glad we got out exactly when we were supposed to. That would have been not fun coming against us aggressively, and that's not how we want to start this new year off. Regardless, still slightly red on the session, but it's one trade away. If we can get back north of 69.60s on silver, We're going to hold some, and then I think we have a good opportunity to climb a little bit higher, but we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. So that's it on AAPL. And the reason why I'm saying, you know what, I don't think I'm going to trade this one for the long side anymore. Take a look at the daily. Right, this looks like we're going to head in towards some key support levels. You can head into 265. So I don't want to find a bounce, considering there might not be any form of a buy program stepping in here today. Now, as going back towards SLV, if we can hold VWAP here and not completely break down, I like our chances. But if we look at this, strong price action to the downside, some really, really strong candles right here. Trend still intact, something positive. But if we do give up the volume-weighted average price and have a 5-minute print opening up south of this specific zone, I'm still holding the majority of my position as it's starting to come back into our break even. So that 20 cents doesn't seem like we're going to be holding up there, guys. Should have took a little bit more off, maybe 50%, but that's what if. We document that, we write it down, and then from now on, we at our primary one-to-one price target, we're going to start to take some 30 or maybe even 40% off and leave the rest off for a runner. Higher quality, you can leave it for a little bit longer, but there's SLV starting to come back in slightly here, guys. Now only a couple pennies away from getting our break-even stop out. We took a little bit off, nothing substantial, only 10% right up here at 69.60s and starting to come back in. It was a nice little pop, but it doesn't seem like this is going to be sustained. Now, as for SMR, a nice bounce there, guys. We didn't get quite to VWAP, but that's okay. There's a lot of indecision prints starting to be formed. I have my time frames up here, the 1 and the 5 minute. We're going to head over to IBIT because it was strong today, and if we do get this candle to close like this, there might be a potential long. So let's start planning our trade right now, and I think what we're going to do here, okay, that's a nice print right there, Gorev. We like this right at VWAP, considering there it goes. I'm rambling on as the stock's starting to go away. We can risk 10 cents if we really want to. We can go to 89s, so we could post up at 52.99 or 53 flats and give ourselves to 50. Yeah. So that's a good 10 cents worth of risk right there. I like it. Let's see if Bitcoin's going to recover. This is exactly where we want to look for these indecision prints, especially if this silver trade doesn't work out. But right now we're starting to get somewhat of a rebound. I like IBIT. I haven't traded it for quite some time. You guys know this, and I love it when it's in play. It works really well. So let's head over to IBIT and start planning out this one and get involved. There it goes past 53s. Okay, so if we were in at 53.10s, that was the move there, Gorev. You can even see it on the 1 minute time frame, brother, as that is starting to climb a little bit higher. Now we just need to be patient enough and wait for this pullback. Let's head over to IBIT and see what we got going on over here. Oh, wow, Obi, did you see this?
What's up?
Look at this. Oh, I
told
didn't
you
even.
that.
But dude, you said it was for like.
Yeah, so it's starting to roll in, is what I said.
Wow.
Look at that.
That is insane. Okay, guys. So what I'm
pull one of those up.
I don't know, but why is it doing that though?
I don't know.
Okay. So what you guys, so guys, what you can see here, that's the chain right there. Here on Neil, no one's here. Oh my God, what are we doing now? I gotta pull that back up. There must be some form of access to this. But guys, this is the options chain here on IBIT. You're gonna start to see this on the P Pro. Obi was telling us, so it seems we're getting a lot closer than people anticipated. So this is going to be that 50-50 call option. This is going to be a $50 call option. I don't know where the puts are. I don't know. Maybe you may not be able to buy puts, but these are all the call options here that are potentially coming to P Pro. That's going to be very interesting, and we're going to have a lot of fun with that. But enough of IBIT. That ship has sailed, considering we just got excited about having the options chain on this, guys. So get in the now. Let's head right back over to SLV and see if this trade is going to break that 69.60. I'll be patient enough to wait for the retest of 53. That way we can just give it to 52.90s. That's going to be our 10 cents worth of risk. We can get in full size if we're fortunate enough to get it. But I do like that indecision print right at the volume weighted average price. Now we need SLV to really start to come into play for us here, brother. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I just noticed that right now on IBIT. I don't see it on any other names, but in Bitcoin. Yeah, that's even a better question. Let's do it again. Yeah, let's do it again. I got my eyes on SLV
like,
here.
What's something that's like a liquid?
Can we do that? No, we can't. No, not yet. Okay. We're not there.
We're easing.
Easy. Yeah, baby steps. But there it is, guys. Options chain on P Pro. That's looking pretty cool. I'm sure we're gonna have a bunch of fun with that. SLV still climbing a little bit higher, but IBIT seems like that ship has now sailed. I want to get involved with it. If we were right in at 53s, we would be at our 1-to-1 right now, but that's what if history, and that shoulda, coulda, woulda. So we're not involved. We just need that silver trade to hopefully come into play here and not get stopped out break even. If not, we have our eyes out on Bitcoin.
Yes, thank you very much. They're exciting stuff, man. Exciting stuff
big time.
On that.
You were telling me that it was only on like some like Japanese names or something along those lines.
I think it's just rolling in across the board there.
That's pretty cool.
But Qualcomm.
Well, what's that doing?
Thank you once again, Adara, for bringing this to my attention, because this is working out quite well now. Almost over $1 down from when we saw it there, and trading even lower. So yeah, this is. I asked the question: is this one of those times where Qualcomm starts a product event, and we do a little bit of selling on that? And it seems like selling we have been doing now. Of course, it's Confluence with a little bit of that tailwind as well. That always doesn't hurt at the same time, but that's coming in quite nicely. Didn't really. We talked about this, right, Joe? And I was like, if it kind of consolidates underneath that VWAP. I'm looking to potentially add more in. Guess what? It did not do any of that, pulled right back in, and then pushing a little bit lower here as well. So yeah, this is where the bid came in and around 176.20s in the morning. When was that? That was around, I guess, 10:20-ish. Let's see if we can crack some of those lows and maybe potentially take out some more stops here as Qualcomm takes a bit of a U-turn. Again, the market as well taking a little bit of a pullback. Amazon's just chilling at 233s, man. So I don't know too much about this one. It is relatively strong, so I do need to respect that. And if the market takes a bit of a turn, then that bid has a decent potential of stepping right back in at the same time. So keeping that one on close watch. But is it extended? I think so, but there could be something else going on here. Apple, though, is the one to get short because it continues to make lower lows here. So let's take a quick look at Apple. Apple right there, 266s and some change, 2 times relative volume now on Apple. We've been maintaining that for a decent chunk of the day as we push lower and lower. And even through the low day breakdown, not a lot of volume there, but still trending to the downside here on the day. So let's see. Yeah, exactly. Word of the day, word of the year, Confluence for sure, man. You got to look for Confluence in your trading because that's what stacks your probabilities, right? It's all about probabilities. You make decisions based off of changing probabilities, and that probability increases or decreases when you have different factors that confluence either with your idea or maybe you can say confluence against your idea as well. But those stacking factors is basically what I like to look for, and this Amazon is slowly stacking against me here. So I got to deal with this one. What do you got going on?
We'll take a little bit more off, guys. Unfortunately, that Bitcoin trade was really nice and we didn't participate in it, but we're posted up at 05s right now. We'll risk to 95s, 10 cents just in case we do get a little bit of a pullback, but we trim a little bit more as we head into this. It seems like somewhat of a supply zone here on silver, guys. We take some at 58s. We took it at 60s before, but if we can head into 70s, that's going to be really, really good, considering I'm still holding on to about 80 to 85% of the bulk of my position. So that we're holding on to the majority of it, and that's what we want to do. Lots of buying pressure. We can see the detail within these 1 minute prints. And one thing that I've noticed when I've been trading silver and gold as of late, there it is, Obi, a nice little pop up into 67s on SLV. We're going to take a small bit off here once again, guys, and see if we can catch that fill. Bang, there it is. Yes, that's exactly what we want to see right now. If this move can be continued, we like this a lot. Maybe I should have took it again. Why do I leave a lot on for runners? Maybe I take a little bit more off here. If we run into 70s again, I'll take probably 30% off just in case. But we're going to keep our eyes on the tape as well. If it remains strong, there's no reason. And that's why I kind of just piece them out bit by bit. But sometimes it's good to just get out a solid bit of your position and then leave some for a runner, all right? So 69 cents, there we go, 72s. Obi, I think this is my opportunity to take a little bit more out, guys. So I'm gonna take 40% of what I have remaining right now, right where we're currently trading at. Oh, okay, so I missed that, Phil. Hopefully it comes back into 70s if we have any forms of strength. I think we have a good opportunity to do so, but I am posted up to take 40% of my remaining position out here on SLV, and hopefully it doesn't tank. We're still posted up at 05s here on IBIT. That's going to be 53.05, all right? So there it is at 69.70. We did get that level, and now I'm just thinking we should have took a little bit more. There is an inverted print here. You can see the detail within these candles. Channel to the top side, but this is a bearish print, and we don't want to see this whatsoever. Why? Because now we're starting to experience a pullback. We had the hammer candle printed, we got that strong move higher, and then now we're starting to come back in aggressively. So maybe a little bit more off, but that's okay. We'll write that down, we'll learn our lesson, and we're going to be keeping our eyes on Bitcoin just in case we do get that 10-cent pullback. That's going to give us our fill, that what we're looking for. If silver breaks VWAP right at this zone, I'm going to have to get all out of this position because I don't want to give back too much unrealized, considering we were almost at a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, approximately a 1.5 to 1, considering 69.60 was our 1-to-1. We run into 70s. That puts us at 1.5 to 1, so approximately 30 cents ITM on SLV while risking only 20 cents. Now, as for Bitcoin, starting to get that move that we're looking for, I took my eyes off of Apple, guys. Gorv, I don't know if you're still looking. Rusty Dutch, how are you doing, my friend? I've only hit the bang once since I've returned. Maybe I'll hit it a couple times. I'm sure you guys have been missing this one as well, too. I'll throw that one out there for the good old folks at Trader TV Live. That is going to be the stone cold, but SLV doing pretty good. Netflix putting in an indecision print as well, but we're not really close to the volume weighted average price, but who knows, you might get a bounce. Considering I was talking about it this morning, we're down 32%, maybe a little bit less now, but as of the open this morning, approximately 32% on NFLX. So I'm like, at what point are we gonna get that sustained move? So now we're back down to 30%, roughly around 31. Not too bad. One thing to note is that when I was buying, so this is approximately where I was buying NFLX, but I'm like, you know what? This isn't the best move. Why? Because Neil would probably agree with me on this front. That's really, really sloppy. But here, this downtrend is still fully intact, and it hasn't been broken. So until we sit on the backside of this move, you might not see a sustained bounce in NFLX. If we do break and then we have a daily print on the backside of the trend line, then sure enough, I'm gonna have some more conviction within that setup. But there goes Bitcoin, Obi, now trading up to 53.22. That's a pretty good look. Unfortunately, we didn't get that pullback into our level, but we're gonna hold up and post exactly where we're at, and we're gonna remain there just in case it's gonna take a little bit longer than what we've anticipated. That's what the market typically is. Your thesis is correct, you have the right idea, but timing slightly off, and that's something that you have to continuously find within your trading journey there, Obi. A nice move in Bitcoin. The indecision prints were there. It's unfortunate that we didn't get to participate in it, but guess what? There's plenty of time left within the day, and we're gonna get involved in plenty of more trades. There it is. We run into my break even here. Oh no, that's not, okay. That's not good. All right. We run into my break even there on SLV, and then we get all out of that trade as it came right back into 69.40s. We didn't take enough off, so now we're going to keep our bid up here on IBIT. Adara, what do you have?
I don't have news, but I do have one final update on our Jimmy Carter picks. If you guys recall, just under a year ago, January 9th of 2025, basically all of the hosts here kind of made our picks for what we thought would be the best stocks in 2025. Here is the final looks, and again, I didn't do this from the start of the year. I did this as of the open the following day on January 10th. For parity purposes, I was updating this every single month. Here's the final look. As you can see here, best individual stock pick by far is Sean's Palantir. Worst by far is my UNH, although I think Sharif's UNG pretty darn close. Now we're going to take a look at the cumulative returns. I gave a little ribbon here for everyone. So in first place ribbon is Sean, basically just Palantir. His other two choices completely canceled each other out. In second place, we have Neil with cumulative return of 127%. And last but not least, Joe in third place here, 36.4%. I also did the average return. So across all of our picks, what was the average? Average here across the host is just under 21%. So this was a lot of fun here, guys. Exit TTV research. You can find all these visuals. We post informative content, but sometimes we like to have a little bit of fun too. Back to you. Oh, wait, what? You just want to see your ribbon again? Yeah.
Of course I want to see my ribbon.
Joe with the third place ribbon
No,
here.
but hold on. There's one thing that I'll mention. I was in dead last. I was getting destroyed because of Tesla and Meta, and to creep into that third place spot, I told you guys, watch out this year. I have every single intention to win this thing. I mean, I got to go up against Neil and Sean. Those guys are going to be some tough competition, but I am not worried about it whatsoever because I've been doing my homework. Adara, how about you?
Like, it was a lot of fun, yeah. I mean, I came in like fourth here. I had UNH, so like the fact I'm not dead last and or red is making me pleased as punch. So yeah, I mean, I think it just really shows that like certain stocks can really help you or hurt you. Like Sean's entire return is all Palantir.
Yeah.
Because his other picks were Coin and DIA, and they canceled each other out. Like they zeroed out. So it's a really interesting. I think it teaches you a lot. It's kind of an interesting look here.
Go back, yeah, there you go. That one more slide. I am the one of two traders where all of our picks are green.
Yeah, you and Neil.
Hey, so watch out. I mean, I think I did mine in like an acronym as well too. So I wasn't even that serious. I was, and Big Smile knows this. So no, that was a lot of fun. And
How
I'm
could
looking
we
forward.
forget Neat?
Yeah, exactly.
And how
Neat.
you
So maybe
change your picks the last minute.
Exactly.
So,
So maybe I do it again, and you know what? Maybe I'll come up with a little bit of a better one there, and we'll find some of the picks. So we'll see what we got going on. That was plenty of fun. I'm sure we're going to be doing it again once Sharif gets involved, though. We will get your picks as well too. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. We're all out of SLV, guys, as that is tanking, and Bitcoin's still holding up relatively strong. So not too bad, brother. What do you got going on?
Yeah, no, I'm just kind of watching this this market kind of come in, but the Amazon position is not looking so hot. Qualcomm is working out right now. Pepsi, I'm still holding, as well as that kind of chops around in and around. Where is it at VWAP? Last time I checked. Here, where is my? Okay, yeah, just holding VWAP right there, and VWAP's coming in at 140.25s there on Pepsi. So I did kind of add into that position a little bit, slightly, but I'm mainly watching this this Qualcomm and this Amazon as of right now, just to see where we go from there. Qualcomm continues to work here as we trade a little bit lower, back down towards 176s. Seems like Amazon is making a bit of a line towards day highs there. Day highs coming in at 233.85s. Currently trading 75s here on Amazon. So that's definitely not working out for me as of right now. But let me know in the chat, what are you guys trading? Not really looking at too many names here. Market, I am looking at to turn back in, but if we make a higher low as well in and around this area, 25,600s, and then push back up, I'm more than cool with that at the same time. Seems like Apple is the one that kind of was sold off the most, and then NVIDIA as well. So those are the only two that I'm really seeing that out of the Mag 7 that could definitely be contributing a little bit to some of the selling pressure. But again, you got to remember, those are only the top, I think they only constitute like the top 30 to 40% of the NASDAQ. Again, you've got to go back and look and get specific. It could also be the case that everything else is what was holding up this bid in the morning at the same time. So again, a little bit of a dance amongst the constituents there. Sometimes, sometimes the beta is very in line and you're getting a very market move that looks like the greater market, and then sometimes you get something that is distinctly different as well, and we're seeing some of that happen here on those two names I'm seeing on NVIDIA and Apple. Obviously, neither of those. You can see the ES as well. ES is much, much stronger than the rest of these. So the composition of the ES is distinctly different. Again, not as tech heavy as the Nasdaq, of course. But yeah, that's what I really have on watch. BKR says 10 design automation. Okay, let's take a look at that one. What is BKR up to here? That's Baker Hughes. Okay, a little bit of a range on the day, holding that 50 mark. Is it doing any sort of relative volume? Not really. Nothing. Oh, actually, you know what? It's doing so much relative volume in the pre-market that those candles mute the ones in the intraday. We were doing about 8 to 9 times relative volume here on Baker Hughes. Now, I don't know if these guys had any sort of news in the morning, but it seems like that $50 level has held as an area of selling multiple times here on the day on Baker Hughes. So good look there on BR.
Sounds good there, Obi. All right, SLB putting in some potential, some new potential signals. I'm liking this as we put in a new low. One thing to note, I will be looking for a tight risk to reward so we can go 20 cents again. Is this going to be the balance that we're looking for? Volume holding up relatively well. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. SLV, but Bitcoin, man, if we were in at 53s, you'd be at your 3 to 1 approximately right now if you're only risking to 52.90s, so that's a pretty good look. Let's get involved in SLV one more time, guys. I mean, it's strong, the names are strong, and throughout the intraday session, we're getting a nice little move. So there it goes. The big getting, oh yeah, it's starting to go away. We don't want to chase this here. So we're going to get in at the exact price that we want. We're going to post up there. It might be gone now, considering, but we're going to go back to what we were doing before. 20 cents worth of risk, looking for that 2 to 1. I'm posted up there at 69.20s. And then sure enough, we're going to look for that move to 40s. We're only going to risk to 69s, so see if we can get that fill. Obi, I'll get you to take over it for me for a couple of seconds as I type something.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so got out of that Amazon as clearly we're just bidding up a little higher there. 234s coming into play here. I'll get out some of these Qualcomms as well if we continue to push up. You can see that bid on the market coming in. So we did hold, as of right now, a relatively higher low here as we push back to the upside on the market. Let's see if it actually takes us all the way back to the day highs as well. So this is what I have in terms of Qualcomm right here. So maybe pulling back up into VWAP. Do I really want to stick around for that long? No idea, but you know, I'll try to take some off here if it'll have me as I continue to observe this this Amazon, because again, maybe, you know what, I'll admit it, I'm doing a little bit of tilt trading on Amazon. That's very true here, because kind of missed out on this piece here, and then this didn't really work, and I gave it to the high. Yeah. Being like, this is the risk I should be giving it, but again, sizing way too aggressively here, and it kind of stops me out and then pulls it right back in. So
it looks like you got out when you were supposed to, though.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's good.
The thing is, I'm following my rules for that, but not necessarily following the rules for
the trade
sizing appropriately. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. Where's the next trade? That's what I'm looking for here as of right now. Qualcomm pulling back up into its VWAP, like I said before. Let's see how our friend Pepsi is doing at the same time. What's I forget what the Pepsi's slogan is. Like something about life or something like that. I don't remember what the Pepsi slogan is. But Pepsi just chilling, still at VWAP right here. So where did VWAP go? Right there. There it is. 140.26. So you can see nice little consolidation. Boom, 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 boom. Wow. Amazon stepping right back in. Thank you. Not the best feeling there, but you know. On Amazon just comes in, can't print 234s, and then slaps right back in 50 pennies there for a pullback into 233 halves. Let's see if this this candle goes green to red here on the Nasdaq at the same time. So we were looking at the Mag 7s, nothing else really selling off that much from where it was before. In terms of chips, man, I was looking at AMD and Intel as well off of the open. You can see here both of these selling off pretty intensely off of the open, pulling back into prior day's levels, now continuing a little bit lower here as well. What do you got for us, Joe?
All right, guys, savvy Canadian traders looking to boost their exposure can now tap into the Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3X daily leverage ETFs featuring built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market. Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing. And there it is, the boys' first ad read of the day, and we're right back in on some SLV. So what was my prior stop before is now my current entry around 69.20s. We're almost at a half to one right there. I'm out at 69s. That's going to put in a new low of the day here on SLV. Now, as for Bitcoin, that was a missed opportunity. A really nice trade, guys, as we're heading in towards the high of the day, the HOD. A really nice move. And what I was looking at over the weekend when I was glancing at my phone to see what everybody was up to, what the markets have been doing, is that you've seen that curl over in Bitcoin. Now, I want to pull up the actual chart of this, not on TradingView, because I don't think it shows it as clear. We'll try it to see what we got going on. Okay, there it is, bang. And let's head over to the, wow, okay, hold on, never mind. We got to take some out here. Added 1-to-1 there, OB on SLV. So we'll take some out right there on SLV. Oh, I said I was going to take out more. I will do it this time. So I'm going to take out 30%. Let me take an additional, some more out. Did I get that, Phil? I did. Okay, good. All right, we like that. So we're still holding on to approximately 45% of our position. We like that on SLV. We posted up at 69.20s, and then we got that move at a 1-to-1, risking to 69. Let's see if we can get it to a 1.5-to-1. We'll take an additional 10% off. Now, back to what I was saying here earlier in Bitcoin was this move. So you got that slow curl over. You can see how some data is missing here, considering this isn't charting the continuous rollover of the actual underlying asset. But we have buying pressure here, and we're holding those zones. Guys, a long time ago, I believe it was with Brian Shannon, and we were talking about this. I'm like, how much weight can we hold on the correlation between the volume and what the price action is telling us? Well, fortunate enough, we didn't break those lows, and then we had an additional print, a daily print that is, so the higher the time frame, the stronger the print can be, forming, saying, hey, we might get somewhat of a bounce. So running into that 95,000 target might be in the works, guys. That's going to be, we're really close to that. That's one strong day away from Bitcoin heading to that zone. But we had that strong curl over, and we had the consistent buying pressure with the support levels holding up almost to a T. So I like this move in Bitcoin. Let's see if this can be sustained. Now back to SLV. Let's start to manage this position here. We don't want to micromanage it. Obviously, it's worked once. It's now worked twice for us, risking 20 cents. We want that move up into 69.50. Could this be the bounce? Why did I decide to hop in it once again? It's the exact same thing that we were talking about not too long ago. We had a nice strong volume print here and indecision. Now there was a little bit more selling pressure than what we would like, but it's the volume that was correlating. And I said, hey, are we going to get that bounce that what we are looking for? I'm glad I took a little bit more off, even though I'm still sitting on approximately 45%. And it sucks to give back those unrealized gains, but you'll be more frustrated with yourself if that you take it all off when you're not supposed to, and then moments later it hits your target. So I'm okay with taking off some of my position and then allowing the remainder to get stopped out break even, in the hopes and with the thesis planning that we hit those higher price targets. And that is my goal here. And if we can crack this support level, you can see that was once prior support, can act as potential resistance, but if we break 69.40s and we hold that, I like our chances of heading into 69.50s, and that's going to be where we take a little bit more off, and that's going to correlate exactly with the volume weighted average price. So not too bad. We took 2 attempts. We go 2 for 2 on SLV. I haven't looked at Boeing since we were talking about it earlier in the day, so I don't know what it's really up to, but we told ourselves we took our 3 stabs. 1 of them worked, 2 of them didn't. And then we're saying, hey, the stock didn't do what we were planning it to do on yesterday's kind of pre-market, or sorry, game planning essentially, right? So when I'm building this thesis and I'm looking at a specific game plan to come into the intraday session, it didn't do it. We got the gap up, but there was no continuation in strength. And sure enough, we avoid that stock. We look for something else. So we're just being a little bit nimble, looking for some quality opportunities, and we're finding that right now in SLV. But the missed opportunity of the day is that rebound in Bitcoin. We're now trading at 53.49s. That might put us around the high of the day, guys. I got to pull up our chart here momentarily, and I'm pretty sure it is. So a nice, strong recovery here in Bitcoin on the 5-minute, and yes, a new HOD on IBIT. Let's see if we can get this move to be continued. I mean, I'm obviously holding it in my long term, and it's my largest position still, even though we trimmed the majority of it. Indecision print at the volume weighted average price, a nice move heading into 53.50s here on IBIT.
Yes, sir. So yeah, we still have about roughly about 2.5 minutes for this 15-minute candle to finish printing. It seems like my my ES chart is not or has not updated at all. I keep thinking that it's up here. It's only the Nasdaq that's really moving around. So okay, no, you know what? It is right there. The candle is a little hidden there. So let's just go down to a shorter time frame and then see if it'll come right back in here. Okay, no, that is a live chart. Okay, cool. I got confused. I was like, that's not really moving around. But okay. All right, so Qualcomm coming in as well, kind of holding on top of this 176 halves as well. I don't know what's going on with the event. Not really paying too much attention to it. But yeah, we'll see if that can come in and break the structure low in and around that 176 as of right now. So we were looking at some of these tech names here, and we talked about how AMD has been selling off pretty aggressively, as well as Intel here. So AMD looking like that, Intel looking like this as well through the day lows. But it's just not just these two names here. We have SMCI as well that is selling off even more. So that's down pretty decently from the high day to the low day, about 6.5%. So straight selling on this one as well. We talk about ARM. ARM's taking a little bit of a beating as well with relative volume to the downside, 117s from a high of 122.40s on ARM there. And yeah, Qualcomm looking like this is the consolidation below VWAP that I was talking about, Joe. Is this the consolidation where, you know, I have an opportunity to potentially take some more for the continuation to the downside here if it'll have me? But I think I'm gonna be a little bit patient, wait for this 15-minute candle to close and see how we open up on the next to really make some decisions here as well. Pepsi still kind of holding in and around that level. IONQ Quantum is back in as well. We saw that this morning, just when we came on, a strong bid, and wow, look at that. I had to get involved with this one because that was a bit of an aggressive bid. And when that comes in, when that breaks, we revert to VWAP, consolidating below VWAP now. Is this a VWAP continuation flush as well on some of these quantum names? QBTS, let's take a look at that one. That one was a little stronger, in my opinion, and that hasn't pulled back to VWAP. And yeah, strength, I guess, showing us some of that strength as it is unable to pull back to VWAP, unlike IONQ, which again, more kind of choppy, maybe not as strong, $50 level as well, and that pulls in pretty decently at the same time, all the way to, I guess, high day 50s, 48.30s is what we're currently trading at here on IONQ. Netflix, that was another one. Here, that's pulling back as well. We attempt to break the highs, push a little bit higher than that 92.30 high a day, about 30 pennies higher, and then now pulling back in. But we're making higher highs. Let's see if we make some higher lows as well here on this name on Netflix. So we've got to keep a watch on that one. Amazon, I did get back in, but not really the best. If we continue to bid here, probably going to get out of this one relatively soon. Same time, TQs was probably the spot to get short, man. Are you taking that market short as well? I see that you got out of all the silver, or
no? I'm still in. Yeah, I'm still in silver here. It's pretty close to my break even there, Obi, and it's not looking too strong.
Good long there, a good scalp there.
Yeah. I mean, I got like 40% off. It's unfortunate we didn't take any more off up here. I think at this point, Obi, unless we get some strong PA, you can just see like as soon as we run into specific levels, it's immediately met by defense. So that's not too good for signs of strength. We'll hold on to it until we come back into 69.20. That's a nice little pop. We'll take that one, considering we still have approximately, we're at 60%, a little bit less. So yeah, not too bad, not too bad. VWAP 69.50 would be more ideal for me personally. Obviously that'd be nice, and that's obviously a little bit more of a, it's a nice chunk out of the losses. That would put us in a nice position to be one trade away from essentially going green again. But that Bitcoin trade was definitely the one that I missed out on. So a little bit of FOMO there, but see, immediately met by defense here, Obi. So we run into a specific zone, something that was prior support, now acting as resistance. So the kind of that over-under play here on SLV, we're still in at a good spot, in my opinion. And if we can break through this, I do like our chances of coming up into 69.50. We took some out at the 40s. But other than that, that's all I really got going on. IBIT is what I was looking at. If we head over to the lower time frame, sorry guys, I was just thinking of something also in my mind. If we head over to the lower time frames here on IBIT, you can see the detail within the price action. Once this loads up, that this is essentially where you want to get in at. And the more detailed you can get, right, the devil's in the details, and that's when you can really, really start to hone in and hit those nice risk to reward. So you could hit almost approximately a 6.5 to 1 with risking 10 cents at 53s. I mean, I get it. That's what if history and shoulda, coulda, woulda. But if you write that down and you game plan, then just look to do that next time around. And that's exactly what we're doing right now in SLV. So a breakthrough here of the 40s, then I like our chances of heading into 69.45. Maybe we piece out a little bit at that specific zone, and then we leave some for 69.50 where we get out the bulk of the position. And then sure enough, we leave about 10, 15, maybe even 17, which is such an odd number to say, 17.5% as a runner or something, 20%, whatever it may be. But I do want to take the bulk off because it doesn't look overly promising considering we keep running into the volume weighted average price. See, the thing is, the data starts to be documented here, guys, approximately 6 a.m. So the VWAP is slightly different here compared to this because it's at, this starts at 4 a.m. Nothing drastically, right? 69.48. And what is this here? We'll compare the two. 69.47. Okay, so the same thing essentially. So regardless of what happens, I guess sometimes it's a little bit different, but it doesn't seem to be the case right now. There we go. A nice little pop will be an SLV. This is exactly what we want to see so far. We never got that pullback in IBIT. There it is, Obi. There it is. We have to take some off here now, guys. We'll take a little bit more off as we head into 45. This is what we're talking about there. Now are we going to head into 50s on SLV? This is starting to work out pretty good, guys. Now we're sitting on exactly 50% of our position. I'm going to tap in onto 50s. If we can get that filled, that would be fantastic. We'll take an additional 25% off of our remaining position. So there it is. We're posted up at 69.50s. And you can see the aggressive rejection, but we did catch 69.45, so not too bad of a play whatsoever. We took off what we said we were going to, and then now we're leaving a little bit more as a runner. But we get that move higher, and then we get an aggressive move back down. So that's not overly positive, but we're going to stay optimistic, that's for sure. As for SMR, 5-minute starting to put in a print. Is that VWAP on SMR? I don't know why this does this sometimes. Like, just display it. It's not that complicated. All right, let's head over to SMR if that's going to correlate with what we are looking for. If this 5-minute print is right at VWAP, this could give us a good opportunity to get involved in some new scale power. Let's head over to that. It's a NYSE name. All right, so slightly above VWAP, not something that I want to see, but we'll be a little bit more patient and wait for this. We're posted up at 69.50s on SLV. SMR up 14% on the day, though. That's crazy. And we got silver up 5.5%. So that's some pretty good numbers there, Obi.
Yes, sir. So I'm keeping a close eye here on this Amazon, which seems to have dropped another, decent amount when I just happened to look away. So let's see if we can break back below this 233 here as we pull in a little bit lower. Watching some of the selling come in. Pretty aggressive here, kind of slapping that bid and wiping the book there as well. Let's see, again, a little bit of a red candle here on this here market. So let's see if we can kind of come into fruition here. I just got to do well to cover a little bit along the way and manage some of the stuff effectively. As when things are seeming a little hairy here. It's already stopped me out a couple of times. I already admitted that maybe slightly trading a bit tilted here, but at the end of the day, can I just recuperate? Can I put that mental back on and be like, all right, well, if the trade is coming in now, how aggressive can I get? And do I maintain the mental throughout that? So let's see if this will come in here. 233. This was at just that prior structure here. Let's see if we've actually broken trend. You can see I got involved here 233 halves and just stopped out because I was like, I'm going to look away for a little bit here, and then it's already down about 50 pennies off of that level there. So let's see what this brings us. Let's see if we can get to VWAP finally. The market, there it is. There's that red candle, that continuation I was looking for. So we had that green on the prior 15. We're wiping that right now, pulling back in. So when it comes to the Mag 7s, hello, let's see who else is pulling back. Okay, nothing too crazy. Alphabet's catching a bit of a bid. Apple's catching a bit of a bid. Softy is the one with the pullback right now. So Softy was one of the ones that was pretty strong at the same time. So let's take a quick look at Microsoft here, MSFT. You can see here that we were saying that this one and Tesla and some of the other ones were pretty strong, pushing their day highs. And this is the first one that's pulling back as of right now as well, while the other is kind of just dwindle there. So NVIDIA was another one that we were looking for the continued selling to happen. That's still chilling in and around some of its lows as of right now. Tesla was another strong one there as well. That hasn't really pulled back that much. And I guess Amazon, right? I'm involved in this one. Amazon was the third one of those Mag 7 names that did come in with that strength and now pulling back as well. There it is. There's some selling. Here we go. All right, so I was a little aggressive with some of those covers, but more than willing to get right back in for the continuation to the downside. IONQ was another one that we were just watching at the same time because I was like, is this a continuation play? We came into VWAP, maybe a little bit of consolidation there in and around VWAP, and then some more pushing to the downside. Wow, there is Amazon rushing
there you go.
through the bid. Fortunately, I covered a decent chunk on top of the 233s, but we're getting that continuation. And Qualcomm, that's coming in as well. So looking good here. I saw someone in the chat a little earlier saying that I only have shorts on in a green market. Well, it's just you got to understand that not everything is that green in the market. I've been pointing out stocks that are not that strong on the day and stocks that are looking distinctly different at the same time. So you gotta sometimes widen the perspective. We talk about all the constituents that are in the futures, that when people say the market, that's what they're talking about. So you gotta understand some of those are not always correlated on the day as well as some of the others. So it doesn't matter whether you're long or short. All that matters is, are you making the right decisions? So let's see what Amazon comes into, if it does come into VWAP here at the same time. Qualcomm finally pulling in. 176 break is what I'm looking at here. I'm going to take this, this little wick is not at the right place, so let's just take that wick out of there. What is the low there? 40s. There goes, so right here. So this consolidation breakdown, that's what I'm looking for here on Qualcomm. Amazon's finally coming in here once again as well, so maybe worth a little bit of a push into as we look like we're coming into VWAP. But if that bid steps right back in, I'm more than willing to get out here and take the next trade. What do you got going on there, Joe?
Right on, man. We took a little bit more off there on SLV, so this trade has really started to work for us, and I like that. 69.20s all the way up into 69.60s. Right, so that hits you at that 2-to-1 risk to reward. We're posted up at 65s, just sticking to the guns, getting out when we were supposed to, 69.40. Way to get out when you were supposed to, though, at the high of the day there, OB, which gave you another opportunity, I think, to get involved once again, and which I think is extremely important. So there it is, exactly what we want, textbook stuff. Here it is on SLV. We're getting that move that we're looking up for into 69.65. I think it's only a matter of seconds until we get that print. One more clean flush, and there it is, bang, there it is, a nice move in SLV from 69.20. We like this move for sure. Katina, man, was that you, Katina, man? I know it was. It was my guy. Yeah, man, what a great time to be back. But SLB working really well for us, up almost 6% in today's session, so that's a big time move. Bitcoin relatively strong, starting to come back in. I got my eyes on a couple other names. SMR, are you going to hold up here? I haven't taken any trades on SMR yet today, but Obi, do you know the guy in the chat? Have you ever seen him? His name is A Guy From Work. All right, so A Guy From Work. Did you get back into SMR? I'm curious to know. Please let me know. You got it when we were supposed to, but did you re-engage? I personally didn't. I rotated into some other things, but SMR, a nice recovery. I mean, we were trading as low as $14 almost, and then now we have a high of a day of around $19.20. Let's take a look at it from a daily. Can you please see IMBS? Please, absolutely, Arun. Anything for you. Considering you asked so nicely, we like this one. Damn, I sold a few SMR calls last week. Oh, hangry wife, no, that's all right. We'll head over to the daily, and then we're gonna take a look at INBS momentarily. So there it is, a nice bounce off of SMR. I was long off of this. Right, we were long off of 19 bucks, roughly a little bit higher than that, 19.50, and we got that move up into 23. I was looking for 26s, and then eventually I just got stopped out. I'm like, all right, let's get out of this. But then you're starting to get a nice little recovery there in SMR. Now, as for NIBS, that's the correct. Is that it? No, that's not it. Let's see it one more time. Arun Warrior, where did you put it? NBIS. Yeah, that's it. Yes. Nubis Group, that's exactly what we want to look for. Why do I gotta go all the way here? I mean, not too bad, right? Like this isn't horrible. We like using our April lows as a gauge. You're up 395%. That's not small. It's quite substantial, to be honest with you. Let's head over to the daily Nubis Group here and see what we got going on from an intraday perspective and what was Friday's session like. So today, lots of sideways PA. We had a high of around $95, and now you're trading around 91. So the volatility is a little bit increased here, as you can see. You're trading within that $5 range. Friday wasn't a horrible session either. You open up on approximately around, what is this price here, $87, and you climb to a high of around $90. So that's a 3-point move right there on Nebius Group. So not too bad whatsoever. But SLV has been a trade. I don't know enough about the company to be honest with you in order to say whether I like it or not. But what I do like right now is SMR and SLV for continuation. Let's see if we can find ourselves an entry here on SMR and get involved in that name. But what we had there in silver, been pretty good so far. Adair, what do you have?
Benign Caterpillar, guys. CAT launching a $1.7 billion debt offering in 3 parts. There's a $500 million 2-year fixed here at plus 27, $750 million 2-year FRN, and a $500 million 5-year fixed at plus 45. Again, 3-part debt offering valued at $1.75 billion, just launched by CAT. Now, they're going to be on watch because we actually have, of course, throughout the week, this CES 2026 event, Caterpillar presenting at that event at 12 p.m. on Wednesday. So CAT on watch ahead of its CES appearance about 48 hours from now. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Okay, so we just finished printing that 15-minute candle there, and we did break down this consolidation that I was mentioning earlier here on the Nasdaq. So yeah, some strong selling coming in here. The ES hasn't really curled as aggressively as the Nasdaq. You can see here, Nasdaq's recovered about 50% of that bid that we got off of the open, maybe even a little bit more. But the ES distinctly different, and there is 176s on Qualcomm, so let's go. That 177, 178 area was absolutely solid to get involved with, and we're getting that continuation back into some of these opening range prices here on the day. So yeah, good stuff there. That's working out. Market tailwind again was a decent factor that's helping us out for that one. IONQ continues to do a little bit of selling to the downside here. Let's see if we can crack that 176 and pull even lower. I have opening range low here on Qualcomm. That's a distance away, 174.10. So that wick right here is absolutely real here on Qualcomm, 174.10s. Let's see if we can get all the way down there. Currently trading at 175.90, so still a while to go if we're going to even get down there. But if we're going to kind of start selling this aggressively, I talked about they're having a potential event, and maybe that is a reason to do some selling here on the day. I don't know if that's the reason why this is selling off. I like it for multiple reasons as well, not just that. But if there's a catalyst going on, the technicals have more confluence for me, obviously, at the same time, and we had already broken a bit of the bid from the morning session there. There's a little bit of a puke happening there as we sell off even more. 13 minutes left for this 15-minute candle, just waiting, being patient. Where is the next trade? All these chips are straight up blood red, man. It seems like ARM especially has a bit of a seller here. Okay, things are starting to accelerate here, Joe. I don't know if something's going on, but there's some acceleration to the downside.
And you're still short Amazon?
Yeah, I got right back in.
Nice.
So we talk about re-engaging. So one of my main goals for this year is just like, okay, cool, dude, like manage your risk, get out where you're supposed to so that you give yourself the ability to get back in and get aggressive when you can, and kind of manage yourself that way. And hopefully, already starting to work here. And so that's like managing tail risk is going to make a huge difference for me, because there are days, man, when I did my yearly review, there are days where I'm just my reddest days are days that I shut down on things where I'm not taking playbook trades, but it's basically tilt trading. And I'm like, I already said, I was definitely tilt trading on Amazon. I called myself out for it. So that's even more reason to stop out where you should, even if it is at the high a day. Yeah. Right? And then that gives me the chance to get right back in and then maybe get more aggressive when it's even more confirmation. Like this was a stronger reason to sell, where you do attempt to break out of that, 233.85s was the high. We get up to the hole and we can't even print a penny past 234s, slams right back in, and then you see the sellers slamming right back in as well. So even stronger reason to sell. So even if I'm kind of getting short, getting chopped up, that's a stronger reason. So the question now becomes, do you re-engage? And how aggressively do you re-engage within your risk parameters as well, right? So that's the next trade for me. That's the next goal as well. So we'll see if we can come back down into VWAP here, 231s. The market tailwind definitely coming in. If the Nasdaq cracks this opening range low, I like it even better, and it seems like the ES is following back in roughly about a 30, again, just eyeballing it, 30% pullback right now, but 50% is what I'm looking for. Can the ES, gotta lean forward for plus concentration. If you're a gamer, you get that joke there as well. So, when you lean forward about 15 degrees, you get about plus 15 to 20 concentration in your stats. So let's see if we can get some of that flow state going on.
Ooh, you like the flow state. Yeah, I love it when I'm in the flow. Always. Okay, now I got to read this one out here. Melly is the most valuable company of I don't know what that word is. I'm probably going to say it wrong, so I don't want to butcher it. But there's SOB, you guys. A nice little move. Attempt number 2 as well, just re-engaging, as Obi and I've kind of been talking about that throughout the day. But I'm like, what the hell is this? What is going on here from $2,000 all the way up to $2,211, so not too bad of a look whatsoever. And this is Mercado Libre. Interesting stuff. I know Libre is library, I'm pretty sure, for my Spanish individuals. Yeah. I'm correct, am I right? It's free?
Free.
Oh,
Libre.
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Libre is.
Oh, okay. I thought it was okay. Okay. No, what is library in Spanish? I know it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't tell me it. I have to say, okay, you can tell me it now because I forgot.
Remember what it is?
Biblioteca. Yes, it is Biblioteca. No, Nacho Libre. Yeah, I was wrong. So there says the guy who just came back from Mexico, messing that one up. All right, Mercado Libre Inc. is a Uruguay-based e-commerce business facilitator of the Argentinian origins, the e-commerce product. I'm not even going to read the chat because you guys are probably just going to chew me up on it. Yeah, okay. Enable retail and wholesale via internet platforms designed to provide users with a portfolio of services to facilitate commercial transactions. The company's geographic coverage includes 18 countries of Latin America. The primary offers an ecosystem of 6 integrated e-commerce services: the Mercado Libre marketplace, the Mercado Libre classified services, and so on and so on. Biblioteca is the library. Yes, thank you. Someone who needs to touch up on his Spanish and just came back from that. So yeah, I mean, Libre is not library, that's for sure. All right, aside from that, guys, what else are we gonna be looking at here? Free market. Yeah, it is. It probably is, to be honest with you, on John Baker. It's up there in Duolingo. I just haven't been using it. I've been really lax on my Spanish. So yeah, once again, I apologize to all. I don't apologize for anything. But there it is, guys. A nice move there, eliminating half of my losses on that one specific trade. So we're just one move away, and we got to look for that next prime time opportunity. Please break down RIG. Ask Adair. Oh, say what? Chris Arthur. What did you say? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm looking at it. It's $2,100. So I'm going to assume. I'm going to assume that it is. So that is not too. It's not my style, and I don't think very many of us here are going to be trading a $2,000 name. I remember a story from a long time ago when Amazon was like $2,000. Traders were just like with another place that I was trading with. While I was trading on my own, but people I was trading with are like, yeah, they just take like 5 Amazon shares, and then every like $20 they're just piecing like one share out at a time. Right? Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Yeah, very true.
Fractal. You got to risk appropriately. If it's a $2,000 stock, maybe the spread is $20-30.
Yeah.
Right. And whatever your relative risk on the day is, if you can size appropriately for that, then that's fine. Take the trade. I just think it's the trade. The trade is the trade.
I think it's really hard though with those spread, because you're down instantly, right? As soon as you know what I mean.
Like it does maybe take a little bit of a psychological hit, and that's the concern there. But I think. We can ask Adair, how many times when you punch into a spready stock are you instantly out of the money? I think more often than not, right?
She's not paying. She's hyper-focused. She's calculating that right now as we're speaking. Yes. Come on, you didn't hit us. No, we'll hit this here. What haven't I hit today, guys? Man, we'll hit this one here because, we'll hit this one because we got that SLV trade. Boom. Right, it's back. We got the stream deck going again here. Again, I can only hit this stone cold so many times. I've been told, hey Joe, only 3 or 4 times throughout the day. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. It's something I typically want to say because I feel like it's one of the more popular animations that we got going on. Maybe next to this one though. Katina Man loves hitting that one. Obi didn't hit the crickets on that. He didn't utilize the stream deck. I don't feel today.
I haven't, but I could.
We could. We'll think about it. When the time is right, we'll get around to that. But some nice indecision prints, guys, on the triple Qs right here. Hammer candle right at those lows, starting to get a little bit of a bounce. Let's head over to the TQs and see what kind of risk profiles we might be potentially looking at. And now we're currently trading it at 60s. Okay, so we have to we want to give it a little bit of room, 30 cents. All right, so we go in a third of our original size. That's not too bad. I might like that as a potential opportunity. I'm not going to bet against this market right now. We're in silver. That's getting a rebound, so I may as well look at the potential long here in the T-triple-Qs to see if we can get that rocking and rolling. How's your Amazon short? How are all of your shorts going? I see you're short 3 names right now, Qualcomm,
So the Qualcomm
Amazon,
is nice.
and
that came all the way to 75 halves, so in from 77 halves. There, so at the club a little bit on that one. Could definitely re-engage some here. We talked about consolidations below that VWAP. Amazon, I've been kind of chasing it down and covering most of it on the way. That's why my average is exactly where we are right now, looking for the stair step down. And if we change that behavior, then I'm more than willing to get out here. But again, keeping it very nimble here, taking 20 to 30 pennies off at a time with some size, and then looking for that potential continuation. So I'll just get out of this one now only in about 2 names. Yeah, there you go. So my Qualcomm's right here. Really like this one here. Covered most of it, 76 halves. That was the issue there. And then Pepsi we can take a look at as well. How's our Pepsi doing? Pepsi or Coke? That's a good question.
Pepsi.
I'm always a Coke kind of guy.
You Katina, man, you're a Pepsi guy? Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Got the Blues versus the Reds here.
You like Coca-Cola?
I love Coke. What do you mean? Yeah, Coca-Cola.
Okay, all right, yeah, right. I mean, obviously Coca-Cola, yes, absolutely.
No, yeah, Pepsi's coming in here. Where's the chart here? Let's pull it up. Oh, that's a strong wick right there.
Stop, please.
What is she saying?
Saying I'm always wrong. Listen, I came in 3rd place with the Jimmy Carter picks from dead last to 3rd place. Oh, so you know what I mean? Come on. I don't know what else to say. Start from the bottom. You know what I mean? Straight out of the mud. Straight out of the mud with that one, Katina, man. That's for sure. Oh, man, that's hilarious.
Yeah, okay,
wow,
so I got
YV,
the chart ready.
758. First of all, you can't say that.
Happening?
He's like, he said something in pubs. Oh.
Yeah, so this is the Pepsi chart here. So this is what we're looking at. Again, what was the reasoning for this one? Some of you asked well, some of you asked like, why are you getting involved with Pepsi? And I just want to reiterate why Pepsi and Coca-Cola were very much in play today. So let me find that little blurb there as well, because I like the way it kind of worded it. Find it, boom, right here. So yeah, so Venezuela, in play this week, of course, has historically been a key profit pool for global soda makers, supported by oil-linked income growth, dense urban populations, and some of the highest, this was the one sentence that I liked, some of the highest soft drink consumption levels in all of Latin America. And then I looked at the chart. After I saw that, I looked at the chart here. Let's just pull up the daily. Now, I didn't see what it was looking like during the day. I just saw it on the daily and the weekly chart here. Let's get VWAP out of the way. And I saw that, okay, cool. We've been selling off since about last year, right? So that's December of 25 there. So the past few days. Sorry, that's what I meant. But we've been stuck in this range since the last year. That's what I was trying to say here. So, and we've been selling off from the top of that range, 150s, all the way back down into 130s, and we were doing more of the same. So coming into the morning, we were doing relative volume here. Look at that. Those are vol bars. Those were doing about 8 to 9 times relative volume, breaking below prior day's lows as well, and then cracking that pre-market low. So I was like, okay, if we see some selling, or if I see some selling off of the open, I do want to get involved. And I saw that it had already done about like 200-300K shares. So I'm like, not a lot of people are watching this probably. And not a lot of people are going to be like, oh, is that really a Venezuela related trade? Doesn't matter. Right here, the sellers come in pretty aggressively. VWAP comes in pretty aggressively as well. And since then, I have covered a decent chunk of the position, I would say over 90%. And now we've just been chopping around here in and around VWAP. So I'm looking for a bit of continuation back down if sellers can step back in. And if not, that's perfectly fine as well. But bigger picture trend, a little bit of a catalyst that's driving this as well. And then you have some strong relative volume in the pre-market as well. So a lot of factors of confluence to get with the bigger picture trend on the day. Unfortunately, I didn't take Coke this morning as well, but that one is holding up pretty decently. You can see here, and didn't really reclaim VWAP and pushing a little bit lower. So maybe people like Coke a little bit. People are a little bit more invested in Coke than they are in Pepsi here. And we're seeing some stronger selling happening here relative to some of these other names. I don't know if there are any other soda names that I'm missing here, but you know, maybe
Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is one.
Yeah, you know, you're right.
It's like Keurig Dr. Pepper, isn't it? Yeah.
KDP, yeah, you're right. Let's see if that one is showing some. Okay, that one would have been a great short today as well, but yeah, wasn't doing as much relative volume, so it didn't really show up on my scans either on this one, but showing a similar kind of price action here to that of Pepsi, reclaiming and holding on to it. So that was the reasoning behind this trade. And yeah, you just got to start to realize, like, stuff that you have a lot of confluence for, you should also maybe look to have a lot of size in as well, because the probability of things working out might be a little bit higher. But yeah, that worked out decently. Definitely have a lot to improve on. Market taking a little bit of a bid here back to the upside. So a good thing I got out of that Amazon. That Amazon's just chilling sideways in and around exactly where I got out, 232.60s, 232.70s here on the day. Qualcomm, I'm still watching that. But other than that, nothing really happening here on my blotter. UAVS, high a day saying stand 6104. Let's take a look at how this one is flying around. Boom, $1.53. So yeah, coming in with some prior day action. We saw a strong bid, relative volume. I was looking at this on Friday. Unfortunately, not looking at it today, and we're getting that continuation happening here on UAVS as it continues back to the upside. So the weekly chart, let's take a quick look as to where we are relative to prior price action. Get that VWAP out of the way. Okay, so a bit of break of this downtrend we've been having since about September of 2025. This is a weekly chart. So a break of that trend, a bid stepping back in, holding maybe that dollar low. We've kind of double bottomed in and around this dollar here for now. 72 fours are the ultimate lows, and that's in pennies. 0.724 pennies is that low, and the most current low, most recent low came all the way down to 81 pennies, trading at $1.53s now. So good look there on UAVS, strong with relative volume, and maybe a little bit of catalyst as well as some of these drone stocks catch a bid once again. So let me know in the chat, what are you guys trading? Yeah, UNH, John Baker, we were looking at that one a little bit earlier today. UNH was strong, and wow, it continues to be strong today, breaking out of this here double top that was made today. Opening range highs 340s, prior day highs 340s, comes in and around 1130, pushes higher, consolidates to 342s, and now pushing past 345s. Let's see if we can see 350s on the horizon here on UNH. We know that this one's been pretty beat down last year, and coming into this year, seems like getting bid up pretty decently as well. So I want to just go to the 3-month chart and see what's been going on here. And yeah, a little bit of a chop consolidation. Look at this chart, man. This thing broke down. This short was absolutely amazing.
What was that on UNH?
Year short going through basically 420s, 430s-ish, and that got slapped all the way down for $200, all the way down to 230s. Now, attempting to catch a bit of a reversion on a much higher time frame is this stock right here. What is that one? Okay, so Qualcomm trading back above 176s, but again, I wanted to take more on this one. Didn't really take as much as I should have on the re-engage. So I should have re-engaged there underneath 177s, where it's holding underneath VWAP and holding underneath some of this morning structure as well at the same time. That's the play.
Did you ever drink Mellow Yellow?
No.
No?
What is that?
No, it's like it's kind of like Mountain Dew, kind of. Yeah, Mellow Yellow, for those who remember it. A guy from work, I was literally just talking about it, and we were talking a little bit about SMR and how it's had a strong recovery. I personally haven't re-engaged, but it's looking pretty good right now. So optimistic on SMR, New Scale Power, as it climbed up to a high of around 1920. I was mentioning you not too long ago. So yeah, hopefully you got right back into it. I didn't re-engage. We took that nice little move there, and then we got out. So unfortunately, we didn't get back in. So I like it right now for a potential rebound. We'll head over to the daily one more time because you asked, and I was talking about you and you weren't here. So thanks for chiming in there, brother. So yeah, when we first were talking about this, it was around 19 bucks. I said, hey, we got to get out of this trade around the break of this level. It broke down, and then now you're starting to get a couple gap ups. With a couple of sessions where you gap up, but now it's a little difficult to draw a trend line on this, right? That would be your break approximately, but we don't have that many touches. So if it's that difficult to kind of draw, then by all means, for me, this is me. I think that you might get somewhat of a recovery. You're on the back side of this, but it's too difficult to interpret what's going on, essentially. So I'm going to avoid New Scale right now. I have some other names that I'm involved with, and I'm going to stick with that. Hopefully we get that, the trend breaks. But as for a long-term play, I think you'll be okay. I mean, this move from April went on a monster run from 11 bucks all the way up to 57. Am I saying that this is going to be a full-blown recovery? No, but this is some positive signs of strength, and we had some indecision prints. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer of a time to turn around. Now let's go over to Meta. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit from sectors, but that's fine because we had the trend break, and then now we're starting to form this consolidation. So you can see how, from a technical standpoint, they're kind of similar, and the same thing is starting to form. You break, and then you have an additional gap up here, and then sure enough, you have a couple of strong sessions. So I think with Meta and SMR, if you continue, then by all means, you're going to start entering some of these gaps. So I'm looking for this here on META, maybe even a potential add here in the long term, considering I'm still sitting on a little bit of cash. There it goes. I'm out of SLV. That was a really nice trade for us. Came back into the break even of 69.20s, and then now starting to head a little bit lower, but that is SMR and META. Now, head over to SLV. I'll show you guys exactly why I got out. We're pretty close to touching that previous all-time high. I mean, not too much, only about 56 cents or so. But let's head over to the intraday price action as to why I'm specifically getting out of this trade right now. Is that it looks like we're running into supply zones right here around 69.65. All right. Double top on that specific zone, and then now we're heading to the lower neckline. So that's why I got out, came to my break even. Totally fine. I only had 10% of that position remaining. And I was looking at a reload potentially as well too. Let's head over to the 1 minute time frame and we can see it there. So here it is. Nice indecision print. So you get that move higher and then you have that pullback, but it seems that it wants to climb a little bit lower. So we'll be more patient. Maybe we take a third stab on it. The second one was significantly better than our first one, so I may as well stick with it. SMR is continuously climbing higher up to 1890. So a guy from work, nice lookout. Hopefully you re-engaged in that specific name. I'm looking to intraday standpoint as well. I want to head over to our scanner, guys, because we haven't really done that, or we looked at the best performing sectors. But first, we're going to head over to Adara.
I have uranium news, guys. U.S. Department of Energy announcing $2.7 billion to strengthen American uranium enrichment. Not much of a move here in CCJ, but if you look at UUUU or quadruple U, this actually did get a little bit of a pop to the upside. It's also trading at day's high, so energy fuels again. Quadruple U is the ticker for this one. Pushing higher as we get news that the Department of Energy is, I guess, adding $2.7 billion to strengthen uranium enrichment in America. Back to you.
Yeah, definitely got to pull some of those stocks up right away. Got a bit of a volume spike here in quadruple U. Maybe not as strong as the opening print, but definitely coming in a little bit here. Let's see if that news starts to disseminate and we start to get some continuation or some action here on this name. I'm waiting, I'm watching. Let's see if we can get that confluence as well. The news just freshly came out, and we did get some reaction there on this prior 1 minute candle. Let's see if it continues to give us a bit of a bid. Already uptrending on the day here pretty decently. Started off in and around 17s, reclaimed VWAP, stepped up onto 17 halves, which was also opening range highs, and now trading and trending higher here as we pull up into 18. So yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on this one. Can we push with some aggression? And this thing hasn't been moving around that much. It does about like 10, 20 pennies roughly every 3 minutes. So if we start to accelerate and get some of that, I guess, a range expansion, then I definitely want to get involved with this name here. Seems like whenever you know, the White House or the president says something, especially the past year, the moves that result off of those pieces.
Nice move on Qualcomm there, Obi.
Yeah, that was great as well. Again, another news, I guess, driven trade that was brought
yeah, let's zoom in. Let's get it. Let's get
Qualcomm right here.
That John bigger a little bit.
So a little choppy, but you know, I guess we can go down to the 1 minute here. Oh, that wick is going to come back. Yeah, this was what I was looking at here. I'll deal with this wick right now so we can get that out of the way and get us a better look here. 176s, 176.40s, let's say. That's the low. So right here, boom. So already had broken a bit of trend, already had sold off and broken the structure at 77.80s. And then I just came in, I was like, all right, I know I should be short in and around here, but I like the trade. punch in.
And you added to it as well?
I have not. I did not add to it.
You
We were
did not.
talking about a consolidation below VWAP.
Yeah.
I think this is the spot to, when I take the second cover, like it wasn't for a lot, but when I see that happening and we're breaking this low here, I can definitely be adding through this VWAP and then adding once again here on the retest or an attempt, a pushback towards VWAP. And then this is a little bit of a puke that we got. High volume, wasn't really watching it 75 halves. That closely, but it seems like we are trickling kind of back up after that, after this volume event, if you want to call it that, there on Qualcomm. So that was quite nice. Quick little intraday scalp there. And again, was it Adara brought us that they had an event going on today, some sort of product event. So I was maybe looking for some sell the news event happening here. Don't know if that's why it sold off. I think, again, I mentioned all the other reasons to sell, which was the trend break, the reclaim of VWAP, the market tailwind as well. So a lot of different factors. I can be like, oh, it happened because of this, but at the same time, that means absolutely nothing, right? It can happen because of so many different things. You never know. But what we can do is try to make probabilistic decisions here of what we think is higher or lower probability and how things can kind of change in and around that perspective there. So just continuing to watch some of these chip names that have been sold off. And if you ask which ones, AMD and Intel are the ones that I have the closest eyes on, because again, sellers have been pretty much been in charge all day, looking for that to become distinctly different. The low day here on AMD is 220.50s, Intel as well. The low is 39.20s. A bit of a stronger bid coming back here on Intel, but Intel kind of does its own thing, and that's what I've realized. It kind of does its own thing more often than not. But today, it is following the market. So if you had a short on any of the chips, that worked out pretty well, right? So especially NVIDIA gave you that surprise flush at the end of the day, but it basically caught up to the rest of its peers in the sector there. SMH also is one to watch, right? So this one was kind of sideways, choppy, came up into its opening range highs, pulled back in, broke to the lows. 377.05 is the day low right now. And maybe, sure, it didn't get all the way to prior day's high, 376.30s, but 377.05s came down into there and catching a bit of a bounce as of right now. All right, uranium's not really doing too much just yet. But again, you got to remember, this is an Amex stock, trades on the Amex, does a decent chunk of volume there as well. And sometimes these things do move a lot slower than everything else. There's Qualcomm catching a bit of a bid. So now I'm out. Like I already got out of more than 95% of this trade here, just leaving a bit of a breadcrumb on for a runner. Maybe this is the bid on the chip sector here. Let's see what NVIDIA is up to. There's a bid coming in here on the markets as well as we pull back above 25,600 at the same time. What are you guys trading? I'm curious. Let's see. Someone saying Cuba and Greenland, watch out. I don't know what's happening there, but okay, what else we got? USAR, BB value level. Okay. Take a look at some BlackBerry here. I don't know how much volume this thing does. Probably not a lot. Okay, 5.9 million. Nothing too crazy, but don't forget, this is sub $4 stock. So that just means that we've been doing some dollar volume, but nothing too crazy on this one. Let's take a quick look at volume gainers as well. SIDU, that was the one from last week, man. I was like, if we break this I think the morning high was like 420s. The prior day high was 420s. I was like, okay, if we break these 420s, 5 is well within range, and we can definitely open the floodgates up until 5. Guess what happens? We open up above 5 here, get to 583s in the pre-market, and then get a little bit of a balance back down into that $4 level. Still continues to hold this trend that we pointed out last week here. Let me pull this up and show you guys at the same time. 15-minute chart, bit of a higher time frame. You can see here holding higher highs and higher lows and now extending off of this trend as well. But yeah, good reason to maybe take a look at this in and around $5 as people may be looking to take some profits coming into the open, maybe even taking the opening print, or maybe getting involved in the pre-market as well, man. So yeah, a lot of good stuff happening here. on SIDU. ONDS we've been talking about in the chat as well, pushing day highs as of right now. Plug Power, okay, attempting to push highs. Intel's up here today as well, doing some decent relative volume. MNTS, don't know what these guys do, aerospace and defense apparently, but it seems like another gap and crap where, you know, maybe you have some pre-market news here, comes in off of the open, strong selling right off of the open once again as well. SoFi. This was a reversion that I looked to maybe get involved with, but didn't really continue watching it. And it seems like it's working out pretty well here. Let's go to the 3-minute chart. You can see it a little bit better here as it comes in, slows down, breaks the trend, starts to consolidate in a trending fashion back below 2950s, and then now consolidating sideways on top of 29. So let's see if we can keep eyes on that one. But yeah, those are the only ones I'll cover. The top was the top 6-7 tickers there on the day in terms of volume leaders, right? All right, so that's all I really got. UUUU, catching a bit of a bit here.
You know, when we say UUUU, it just leads me to the Drake song. I think it's, I forget what it's called. It's like, why you never come to where I stay? Anyways, aside.
I always think of Soulja Boy.
Yeah, okay.
You know, yeah, exactly.
I am more, all right, my guy, Adam James. Adam, where are you now, my friend? I know where you are. I hope South America was amazing for you. It seems like you had a lot of fun watching some of your YouTube shorts. But my guy says, DVLT gang right here as DV Data Vault continuing to climb higher on the intraday session. There goes my guy, Adam James, healing pain naturally with his travels across the world. Shout out to him. There it is, guys, DVLT, looking like it's gonna go and breach that high of the day of around $1.50. You had a low of around $1.13. Joey Hansen, Sports and Stocks. What's up, brother? Hope everything has been good with you. Glad to be back. There's IBIT continuing to climb higher. SMR is, oh my days, is continuing to climb. Guys, make sure you get those dollar signs in, please. Dollar sign, vote. I know what I'm gonna vote for, and we're gonna start it off with, because we got the afternoon rundown coming up momentarily in approximately 20 minutes or so, a little bit less. I'm voting SMR, other Zincs in the chat. Who else do we got? We're gonna do a last minute roll call because we are back, Obi. I've seen that you're in with me all week as well too. So we're gonna be partying. We're not gonna be partying. That's all flushed out because I went on my vacation. So we're not gonna be saying that anymore, but we're having a lot of fun.
Maybe on Friday.
Maybe on, no, brother. Listen,
no, not at all?
Yeah.
Okay,
so I think I'm really good at, if I say I'm going to do something, I think I'm pretty typically good at doing it. Now, Selena was too scared to bet me. I said, I bet you I could go a whole year without consuming alcohol. And she said, Joseph, I don't want to bet you because I know you can do it. And so I'm thinking about doing it because hiatus in Mexico. I'm like, dude, after day 3, I was ready to go home. I was legit ready.
So you pretty much finished your drinking quota on the third day.
I finished my quota. I was done. I hit all the levels that I needed to. Price target obtained, and I'm completely cool with not whatsoever for the remainder of the year. Obviously,
that's good stuff.
I mean, things can change definitely by then, but eat. No, I know. No, eat. Oh, okay. I don't know. Save man, woman. But guys, do it. Says hybrid. I would honestly. I have no issues doing it whatsoever. I don't think I'd lose any sleep. I'm not playing hockey for a year, so no excuse for me to have a beer after hockey, right? And then essentially I'll just be hitting the gym. No one wants to drink before or after the gym. That makes 0 sense if you ask me. So aside from that, guys, get the itch out. It's been out, CEO Mixel Ventures. It's been out, brother, trust me. But yeah, guys, get those votes in here. We have DVLT starting to climb the ranks. We have SMR as well, too. IMBS, Palantir, Meta, Netflix on there, ONDS, Micron as well on it, guys. So we're going to be going over some of these names and the catalyst through the afternoon rundown. So make sure you guys get those votes in. We're going to add a couple of more, and it's going to be surprising. We got a surprise guest as well, too, guys. Oh, I shouldn't say surprise. Yeah, that's right. Neil's like, what? What's going on here? He's surprised. It's a surprise. That's it. So, no, we're going to have a lot of fun. Party so hard that he has anyone in Mexico woke up with a tiger. Yeah, imagine I woke up with a tattoo on my face as well, too. That would have been a disaster. I don't know what to do. Shout out to the
Bit of a
hangover.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's classic movie, movie. Just put some.
There's three of them. Are there not? Or
yeah, there's three. I'm pretty sure there's three of them.
Yeah.
There's three.
First one's a classic.
I was gonna ask. Oh, I had a question I was gonna ask you, Obi, but now it slipped my mind. Maybe it'll come back to me momentarily. Yeah, guys. Put those tickers in. Let's get those votes in. SLV, this was definitely our better trader of the day in around 69.20s. Get out to a high of around 69.65s with only 20 cents of risk. You hit approximately 2-to-1 on that one. So a nice move on SLV. And I'm be keeping my eyes on a lot of things here. We have SMR, New Scale Power, continuing to climb higher. And then we have Bitcoin looking like it wants to go and test that high of the day as well, guys. So keep an eye out on a couple of those names. In the meantime, what we haven't done, I know Adair and them, but is we're going to take a look at the top performing sectors. You get it. I usually typically do this in the morning, but let's see what we got going on in the later half of the session. Leading the way, you would have never have guessed it considering what we got going on globally. Energy sector up 3%. And then we have the financials up 2.7%. Are you kidding me? That's insane. Consumer discretionary 2% as well too. Industrials up 1.55. Guys, not too much red here, and our green is relatively strong. Not often do we see these sectors up 2% plus. That's a nice move. The weak ones are the staples. Walmart, what are you doing? Healthcare down 0.5%. Utilities down 2.14%. Now, let's take a look at some of these dumpster divers over here. I don't know if that's the right term. That might have been a little bit excessive. But hey, let's take a look at what we got going on with Walmart. I still like this name. Doesn't matter. Everybody loves Walmart. America loves Walmart. Canada loves Walmart. And wherever else it is, I'm sure that they like it as well. But a nice little move. Oh, it's still relatively strong, so not too bad whatsoever. Trend is just steady and up and to the right. This is what you want to see from your investment returns. It's just a steady climb higher. You're not going to get the most dramatic moves. I mean, 38 bucks. We're going from 2022 to where we're currently trading at 200%. I'm not going to complain about that whatsoever. Good things come to those who wait, Obi.
Yes, sir. So it seems like we are continuing a little bit of the bid here on U with 4 U's. After that report, you got that bit of a volume spike here as well. These are day highs at the same time. Not only is it day highs, we're kind of breaking out on a higher time frame. So let's take a look at what I mean by that. On energy fuels here, again, traded on the ARCA exchange. So let's just go to the weekly here, and this is what I'm looking at. So, okay, so you know what? The short was nice as well. When we got back through 18s, we hold 14s, and take a look at this. We're breaking out of this weekly kind of consolidation where we've been stuck since about November. Couldn't really get above 16 with any sort of distinction, but we were making higher lows. This week, coming in, we're breaking those highs as of this morning session. We kind of pull back into some of those levels and then push up even higher. So it's going to be interesting here, uranium, and then also getting a little bit of a seal from the U.S. government today, saying that there's going to be some money that's going to be pushed into uranium. I don't know the specifics, but into the uranium sector there as well. So let's see if we can get that follow through here on quadruple U, but not really expecting too much. This thing moves like molasses, and you got to size accordingly for that. And let's see if we can get a few pennies out of this one. Let's see if we can get a reaction out of this uranium on the day today. But no, thank you guys for joining us. I'm gonna be here all week. Shrieps on vacation.
Where did this guy go? Didn't even tell me. You just got.
I don't know. It's his Christmas.
Oh yeah, that's right. Orthodox. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I thought that was on like the 30. I don't know. I'm not gonna try to guess, but yeah. Hey man, hopefully you're tuning in.
Yeah, for sure.
We're back, and we're ready.
You guys keep sharing those great ideas as well. I mean, we saw some great ideas in the chat today as well. We talk about some of the oil plays, some of the chip plays as well at the same time. But what do you got going on? Oh boy.
Yes, we have to go immediately. I need to hear this. Adair, what do you got?
I have a kind of a fun one for you guys. Rumble on the move, RUM. This comes after a post 3 minutes ago from Dan Bongino. If this name sounds remotely familiar, you might know him as the former deputy director of the FBI. He just recently stepped down. pretty long post here that he shared on X. But the reason I bring this up here for Rumble is because he's kind of, I guess, put out some questions here and speculation with regards to if he'll return to Rumble. He's saying here, quote, "Thank you for your interest in the show and its return date. We will have something for you soon." So again, Dan Bongino, former deputy director of the FBI, looks like he's likely to return to Rumble. Traders liking this story here for RUM. Back to you.
Good. Yeah, well,
spikes happening there. Yeah.
Bitcoin, yeah, man. Bitcoin heading towards that high of the day at this point here, Obi. DVLT performing relatively well. Adam James, where are you? Because we went over your super chat. And I don't want you to be like, man, bro, Joe, you missed my super chat earlier when you weren't listening, because we went over it on multiple occasions. But yeah, there it is. High of the day on Bitcoin. Nice move. We had SMR starting to come in off of those, off of the high of the day, but still looks relatively strong as the pullback volume is really starting to cool down. TMC, BMNR, a lot of things moving, guys. Let's get over and take a look at some of these here. So we'll head over into the first one, TMC. Let's do it. All right, TMC metals, yeah, really, really strong. Let's change this here. I'm sorry that I have to do this every time, just so you can see it a little bit clearly. To text. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, there. Yeah, okay, that's correct. So yeah, I mean, a bull flag starting to be formed here on TMC, the metals co. Not too bad of a look whatsoever. Now, as for BMNR, yeah, choppy, choppy, choppy. I haven't even looked at ETHA today, so maybe we're gonna get a little bit of a move here off of these lows in BMNR. This name is still down currently 81%, a little bit less. We'll get more of an accurate reading here, and that's gonna be 79 to 80%. So yeah, oh, that's such a tough look. What is MSTR up to? That's the thing where I can't wrap my head around right now with these specific plays, is that we're supposed to look at BMNR and MSTR as somewhat of these leverage plays within the underlyings. But if we head over to the intraday here on MSTR, look at this compared to what IBIT's up to, right? So if it's truly a leverage play, then why aren't we up equally as much? Well, I mean, from a double percent. I get it, it's not specifically a 2x leverage vehicle, but that's what it's supposed to be kind of acting as. And it's just not doing that. Bitcoin up, MSTR down. ETHA I haven't even looked at personally. Today, ETHA up, BMNR sideways chop. Now looking like it's going to break that consolidation. So, I mean, it had a solid session on Friday, but it just wasn't replicated. So I really have a hard time wrapping my head around MSTR and BMNR right now. But when there's blood in the streets, then, I mean, is it a good time to buy? Yeah, yeah, exactly, West, y'all. That's what it feels like. That's truly what it feels like. That's why I'm like thinking, so a lot of people are saying, hey, Joe, why don't you trade IBIX? I'm like, well, it's a leverage play, right? And you don't own those things long term. And I'm not saying that's the same case with Bitmine immersion or micro or strategy, I guess it's called now. If anything, I could get behind BMNR because it generates yield, just due to the fact of owning so much Ethereum. It's a successful treasury. But Bitcoin doesn't really generate any yield. It's not really, it doesn't. So I just have a hard time with what's going on right there. I mean, you could get that amplified move at some point, but it's going to take a lot for these names to recover, considering they're down substantially off of those highs. Yeah,
definitely ones to watch out for here on the day. And yeah, we only have about 30 seconds left here. So we were talking about that ES pullback. We pulled right back up. So ES is definitely distinctly different, relatively stronger than that of the Nasdaq here as well. The Nasdaq gave us a decent pullback, more than 50% of this morning leg that we had coming in off of the open there, and pulled back into some of these, I guess, pre-market session areas at the same time, catching a bit of a bid back through that 25,600. So yeah, I do have that on watch. Here, Tesla seems like it's about to break high a day there, so that might be one to watch as well. But NVIDIA, distinctly different, about to break lows is what it's looking like there on that one. So good luck, guys, with the rest of your day.
Oh, no way.
You're not going
wow.
anywhere because you got the big boys coming up next.
time flies
But we'll
when-
see you guys soon.
Flies when you're having fun.
Tomorrow for me, rundown for Joe. Ooh. Stick around, guys. Take it easy.
He's not muted now.
I think Joe is the special guest that we may or may not be